The Mayo Experience.
Mayo Experience. Mayo Experience. Mayo Experience. Experience.
Welcome to the Pat Mayo Experience, the flagship show of NFL season, week 1. Spread picks, preview, game previews, that is. We're doing this a bit early, so obviously the spreads are going to change. All spreads provided by DraftKings Sportsbook.com, the show presented by DraftKings. So what you need to do, along with your survivor picks for the week, is we're still alive. And as long as we're alive, we'll be making survivor picks out there. And one of us on this show actually had a perfect season like 3 years ago and didn't win any money off it, which is hilarious. Either way, smash the like button for the episode. In the comments section, please tell me your favorite spread or over-under of week 1. Also, as is tradition, if you're new to the Spread Pick Show, we need the viewers out there to help us catalog the best moments of the Spread Pick Show throughout the season. So if there's a moment you find particularly noteworthy that you want to see in a best of at the end of the year, just write in the time code and a reference point in the comment section and boom, we're on our way. Makes it really easy for us to gather all of this information in December when we don't give a shit anymore and want to go on holiday. Also, subscribe to the Pat Mayo Experience audio podcast. Leave a 5-star review because I got some giveaways for you out here. But first, let's introduce the team. We have Geoff Fienberg in studio, back again.
Excited. Football season. I was in a dark place, but I think I'm seeing the light. I'm excited again for football and all the weirdness.
Anyone who's coming over from the golf show knows this is now the NFL show. However, you and I will be getting back together twice from now until the end of the year for golf picks. One of them will be next Monday for the U.S. Open picks, and then once again on the Monday of the Masters for our Masters picks. Other than that, it's going to be strictly football with us. If people didn't know, I joined the team over at FTN Network, along with Brad Evans and Jeff Radcliffe and Elliot Christ. I got some giveaways for that. So FTNDaily.com, FTNBets.com, FTNFantasy.com. Here's what you do. FTNBets.com has an awesome tools package. If anyone knows me from golf, I always hawk FantasyNational.com, which everyone should go become a member of, by the way, FantasyNational.com/Mayo for a discount. But at FTNBets.com, they have a site shopping app for any of bets you want to make. So if you want to go Arizona versus San Francisco, just plug in Arizona versus San Francisco. Where's the best line? You want a prop? There's the line. Plus all of the trends tools, pace tools, everything like that. It's not about picks. It's about you accessing research very easily. And that's always the thing that I don't want to have 25 tabs open at the top of my screen. I'd like to go to one place, and that's what FTNBets.com is. So the same thing applies to FTNDaily.com for daily fantasy and season-long type tools as well. Lineup generators, optimizers, pace tools, situational stats, all of that stuff. So if you go to FTNBets.com and get a football package, use code MAYO, by the way, and you buy one of those packages and you screenshot it to me, I'm going to draw one lucky person out there from the FTNBets.com package and one from the FTNDaily.com package using promo code MAYO for your discount, and you will be refunded your money. I will be announcing the winners on this show next week. All you got to do is screenshot your purchase to me, tweet it at me, email it to the patmayoexperience@gmail.com, Instagram it to me, Facebook to me. I'll find it. But that way, that gets you in the draw, so I can refund you your money if you end up winning. Geoff, I had Rob Pizzola in the studio yesterday to talk about the basics of NFL gambling. You can find that in the description of this podcast and video right now. We're up on Mayo Media Network, which everyone should go subscribe to. Brand new channel. We need your help. Sorry for the long preamble here at the top. It's week 1. This is what we got to do. You can use the time codes and fucking skip ahead if you want to. But at the same time, it's the exact opposite of what we're going to be talking about on this show. But if you're actually serious about betting on the NFL, I highly suggest people go listen to that.
Yeah, I've known Rob for a really long time. I listened to a good majority of it, and I enjoyed it. Rob's able to deliver that information and not make it feel as boring as a lot of people who do deliver that same
analytical type takes who talk about modeling. Yeah, Rob is an excellent guest and actually articulating what you actually need to know about football betting and the right way to do it. The wrong way to do is how we do it, where it's like Miami Dolphins are 8-34 in their past 38 home games over the past 30 years. That actually has no relevancy, as it turns out.
Apparently not.
Although it doesn't. How could it? Different players. It's like college football stats year to year. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I agree.
But they make nice things to click on the internet. People love writing columns like that when it comes to quote-unquote trends about football. But I highly suggest everyone go check out that show too. There's a DraftKings strategy show that I put up over the weekend on the pod feed and on Mayo Media Network. And the last thing, the Pat Mayo Experience DraftKings Listeners League. we got a listeners league for football. None for golf. Maybe there will be for US Open. None for the Safeway Open this week. But you can find the link to that in the description of this video and podcast. It's filling quickly. There's 4,000 spots, $15 to play, 3 max entry. And the best part, no rake in that tournament, which makes it actually the best tournament on DraftKings. Flat payouts, too. It's pretty awesome. Let's get to the rest of the team. The third member of the team last in spread picks from a year ago, the Coin. The Coin had a bad year. It was the defending champion. I think its head got too big. Well, that's the tails. The head got too big for it. But the Coin had a really good 2018, had a very poor 2019. Looking for a rebound this year from the Coin. What do you think? Good or bad year for the Coin?
It'll probably be a good year for the Coin. And if you're new to the show, just a heads up, the Coin isn't the person who went undefeated and didn't win any money. As you might think, it would be hard for the Coin to win the money.
Well, the Coin can only make 50-50 decisions. So unfortunately, the Coin does not make any survivor picks or suicide pool picks or lock-in super locks. But it does pick the games either this side or this side. Home team or away team is just the way to do it. Now, the guy that actually went 16-0, 17-0, to be perfectly honest with you, during his survivor and didn't actually play it in any of his real leagues because he's a phony, it is Tim Undergust.
Tim Andergust.
That is not my name.
Phony.
But,
Big fat
nope.
phony.
Yo.
That's your deflection, an elf impression, a bad elf impression?
What can I say? I've had some perfect suicide survivor years. I've had some imperfect ones, but I'm excited for football. I'm excited for some picks. We'll get into this week and week by week as we go through the year. Some weeks you got no feel for anything. You feel like you hate every game. I thought that would be the way week 1 is. It often is for me. Week 1 is loaded with value if you know where to find it. If you have eyes to see it, you can make the books pay this week. If you're both prudential enough to listen to what we're saying and gutsy enough to make the bets, you can come home big this week.
One of the big things that you should know about this spread pick show is don't follow any of the bets because they're god-awful picks. Looking at last year, we all paid at least the VIG and most of us just lost. I mean, no one's actually going to bet all 16 games on a football slate, but as the show goes, we pick all 16 games. Last year,
Cam does.
Cam does bet all 16 games, plus all the side action, plus all the props, plus all the totals. Not a great strategy in terms of being a plus EV better. But at the same time, when it comes down to this, we look at it last year. I won the spread picks overall. Geoff came in second. Tim came in third. And the Coin came in last. Although Cust has a thing at the very end, whether it be parlays, whether it be teasers. He calls them free money over the past 4 years. His parlays and free money teasers are a hilarious 6-71, Tim. That's an impressive. Very impressive.
Well, I guess we got add 17 to the win column here. That's what we're going to do.
You're going to, even if you went through, and you give away one on Thanksgiving, so let's make it 18-0.
18.
And let's say you get all the first 2 rounds of the playoffs correct, too. We'll get it up to 20. You'd be 26-71 if you had a perfect season.
Yeah, it's sort of like how Tony Gwynn would have to come back in the league and strike out 500 times in a row or something to be close to league average.
There we go. But you're the opposite. Yeah, you're the opposite. You're the opposite of Tony Gwynn.
Yeah, I mean, well, true. He was looking for a CNI single to between the shortstop and the third baseman. I'm just taking hacks at the plate.
You're not even really taking hacks, though. You're making like 7-point teasers that pay like plus 300.
I have the Cito Gasson approach. I see that first pitch and I swing as hard as I can.
Are you gonna start the season like calm and collected with these, or try to win everything back from your horrendous last year, out of the gate?
No. Believe me, I think I limited it to 5 on this parlay, and I saw.
Oh, so it's a parlay, not even a teaser now.
It is a teaser. It is a 6.5 point tease. But my goodness, I could have put a lot more. I had to be discriminating to decide which teams not to put in. That's how much confidence I have in this week.
Well, you know who to feed this week.
Most people would say, even like the experts, the super sharp podcast people, like, I don't know, this week, like, there's so many variables that are kind of unknown. There's such a level of sloppiness we'll probably see even in things as simple as center quarterback exchanges, special team snaps. Like, God forbid, if you've got a rooting interest, like you are on the right side of the 50-50 plays that will make or break the game, that will be like horrific in nature, like embarrassing from the teams that do make them. Like I said, I think we're going to see some horrendous special teams exchanges and some even like normal quarterback center exchanges, like just hit the carpet, quarterback running back exchanges.
Is there any sort of team that you're leaning towards as being more prepared? There's not a team in particular, but do you think the continuity matters in week one? If a quarterback has been in that system for 8 years, they have the same offensive line, basically, like Atlanta, for example, who just seems to have almost all of the same pieces. Would you favor that sort of team over a team like Carolina that has a new quarterback, a new head coach, that maybe it was more difficult to implement that stuff during a shortened offseason? In week one, at least?
Yes, I would agree, but
I'm not saying either way. I'm just saying, do you think that has an effect?
I think you do have to, I'm not looking to necessarily pick on them, but they definitely had a harder time installing a new offense. Like, installation in the NFL is incredibly complicated. It doesn't happen overnight, and it doesn't happen, honestly, over a period of like 2 months. They need every minute that they can get. That being said, a team like Carolina, they could be incredibly hard to game plan for them, because what tape are you even like looking at and preparing for week one, per se?
Sure. No, I completely agree. I don't know which way it swings, but I think we're going to see some teams show up in week one and look like crisp, and other teams are going to look fucking lost. And it's not going to be who we necessarily expect from it.
Yeah, and I think we kind of talked about it on our season win total shows, which there's still plenty of time to go.
Go check those are in the description
watch
too.
them.
Go check those out. Have a laugh.
Me and you were both pretty confident, like, of all the randomness that's going to happen, like the Vikings will show up prepared to play football because they're coached by Mike Zimmer, and that's just how it's going to happen.
Tim, do you have any sort of particular insight? Do you think this is going to be like the UFC where like 10 minutes before game time, it's going to be like, oh, this guy has COVID, he's out?
No, I think the last sentence Geoff said was what I was going to say, which is that I think the teams that are best coached, irrespective of whether a newish coach or a long-term coach, will make the difference. I think that the Texans, having had Bill O'Brien for several years, puts them in a worse position than Carolina does with Matt Rule, for example. Plus, but in the end, these are all pros and professionals. And so I don't expect it to be like a blooper reel either. Yeah, there'll be some mistakes, but it won't be comical in the main. And I think people are trying to look too hard for sort of the easy explanation for how this week will break out. And I think, like you said, we don't know what could happen. So just play the board based on what you think these teams are and sort of leave that stuff to the side, and the chips will fall where they may.
Can I ask, over the course of the year, are you going to be hesitant to make a bet on a number you really like early in the week because of, say, COVID potential?
No. If it's a number I like, I'm going to hit it.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
A couple of times, that's true. And after people get burned a few times, that'll stop happening. And I don't know. I could see a situation in week 5 or 6 where the books don't hang lines till like Friday.
Not happening. They get burned
several times.
Too many. It's not like they're actually getting burned. Like it's not like one game swings a week for a sports book. It just doesn't
one game doesn't. But if it happens a lot over like 4 or 5 weeks, I can see hesitancy. But that's assuming worst case scenario, and we're going to proceed as if that's not going to happen. So
I plan on proceeding as normal. I have not real concerns. I think they'll go along just fine. Like Tim sort of said, I'll have to get burned before I'm going to consider changing an approach of making a bet on a number that I'm confident will move. So
once again, the giveaways are ftnbets.com, ftndaily.com. You can find both links in the description of this video and podcast. You use code Mayo, you get yourself a discount. You buy that package, you screenshot it at me, wherever I am, wherever you can contact me. You're in a draw to get that package for free. Get your money right back to you. So it's a fantastic package that you're going to want for research purposes if you're actually serious about betting on football, or if you're serious about playing DraftKings football this season, or if you have a season-long fantasy league that's worth a ton of fucking money, you're going to want those tools because they make everything so easy to actually research, both for both picks and actual in-game stuff as well. So highly suggest you do that. ftnbets.com, ftndaily.com. Let's go. Thursday night game. If people know the show, we don't really break down the Thursday night game because most people listen to it after that. But either way, Kansas City is favored at home by 9 points. 54.5 is the new adjusted total. It was 54 earlier this morning. It's up to 54.5 right now. Last year, teams that were favored by at least 7 points with an over-under over 50 points were just 1-6 against the spread. The only one to cover that was the Chiefs in week
course.
2 against the Raiders. So I guess the way that you need to look at it here is this a situation where the Chiefs just coming off the Super Bowl, they're at home, go pedal to the metal? I know that it's not. Do they have fans in Kansas City? Are some stadiums
Yes.
letting fans in?
Yeah, they're one of the few that are. They're going to have 22%. How you come up with that number, I have no idea. But 22% fan attendance at this game on opening night.
Is the secondary market hot because there are so few tickets, or there isn't really a
like a
secondary market?
I don't know. I would guess
no...
StubHub is probably. I don't know. They probably have to reserve those for.
I know. I have
guess
a
season ticket holders.
Yeah, I know someone that's a season ticket holder of a team, and he got contacted to see if he would like to attend games, forgetting the fact he can't even cross the border.
Yeah, if you're because we're like if you live in Toronto and you have Bills season tickets, you can't actually go to the games legally because you can't go into the States.
But I don't think Buffalo is allowed. I don't know. Each team.
No, New York State's not allowing for the first couple. I think there's only like a handful of teams: Kansas City, Miami, Jacksonville. I'm sure there's one or two more, but there's not very many.
So how distraught is Mailman Ed?
His name is Fireman Ed, and we will talk about the Jets later on. This is not Jets Talk Radio. This is my AFC Championship game we're talking about now.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. We both Tim and I did pick the Texans to win this division. Is it going to be a situation where Kansas City just gets up by a bunch, or is it like reminiscent of the playoff game from last year where Kansas City was like, yeah, we'll spot you 20 points. Don't worry about it. Then we'll just come back and blow the doors off of you. I just don't see how they stop Kansas City in this game, but do they have the juice to keep up on the scoreboard and like backdoor this 9? That would be the way I would take Houston. It's weird. I don't have like a lean in this game. Like it's not, I'm probably just not going to bet it.
I like Houston.
Well,
give me 9 points.
You want the 9?
Yeah, I think Kansas City is everything they're being talked up to be, but I'll take 9 points on Thursday night in a playoff revenge spot. And there's like a stank on Houston that I'm not fully buying. You mentioned you've picked them to win the division. Because everyone knows the coach sucks. They traded what's perceived to be their.
In fairness, Bill O'Brien, better coach than GM. Much more abysmal as a GM than he is as a coach. For whatever reason, he gets his team to the playoffs every single year.
I'm just saying
that's despite him, not because.
Well,
of him.
there's a stank.
They're still doing it.
There's a stank
the
on
game
this team. I'm going to take 9 to start this season.
How many games am I going to get Brandon Cooks and Will Fuller and J.J. Watt fully healthy? Very few. Give me the Texans. I think they're live to win the game, even though I'm not going to pick them to win the game, but I'm taking the points.
Is this making your teaser?
This will probably be the most this will probably be the most popular suicide pick of the week, I'm guessing. It's not mine, obviously, but I am taking the Texans.
It is the largest spread of the week, so yeah, I can see that. Generally speaking, not that I have a great stellar track record of Survivor, but I try to stay away from the Thursday game in suicide pools, just because even though it is, remember when the Patriots got waxed by the Chiefs on Thursday night like 3 years ago? Everyone was just, I think the Patriots were favored by like 10 in that game. Just some teams don't show up on Thursday nights, week 1. Like it's just, they don't care. The Chiefs are going to be fine whether they win or lose. I'm going to take Houston as well. I can see Kansas City winning by like 50. But
of course.
The 9 is a lot of garbage time there. It's not like the Chiefs defense is any good. It's not.
No.
So yeah, I kind of buy your argument. Everyone is healthy for the Texans. It's not going to continue that way. You might as well take them while you can. I don't think that they win, but I think they can backdoor cover this game. Let's go to Sunday. I'm so excited for Sunday. Just to get down, have the 8 games on, watch them all at once. It's going to be fucking fantastic.
So what are you going to do?
I got a place.
All right. Because I know, I just know that you had like a normal setup historically.
I'm going to my normal setup.
Okay, good. That's. I'm happy to know you'll be taken care of.
Yes, I need to watch the games.
Yeah,
I'm live 9:30 a.m. Mondays on Mayo Media Network, and then after the fact on demand on the Pat Mayo Experience podcast feed with Chris Meany and Gary and Thorne recapping all the stuff and looking forward to the next week. Cleveland at Baltimore. This is going to be the most popular Survivor pick of the week. The Ravens are favored by 8 at home. 48.5 is the over-under. I've heard some people want to get back in on the Browns so badly. I don't think this is a great spot for them. Although they have a weird thing where if they can just establish the run with Nick Chubb and just kind of milk this clock and cut down on the efficiency. Like the Ravens were so good last year. It feels like of course, they could be as good again, as efficient again, but it just seems like they're going to regress naturally because it's just so hard to be that good in consecutive years. Like, are they going to score on every opening drive this year? Probably not.
Probably not.
I don't think so. And if they don't do that, then you have the games a little bit closer. It doesn't force teams to play catch up automatically. Like, when you score on your opening drive as often as they did a year ago, like, you just dig the other teams into holes right away. It's like Tim's free money teaser record. He's never getting out of it. That's what the Ravens did early. Like,
Felt like it.
It was
Felt
just
like
they
it.
walked up, boom, and then you're just fucking rattled for the next 3 rounds. So I think if the Browns can get it going on the ground, milk the clock, they have to play this like they are the underdog, limit the amount of possessions, potentially get a turnover in this game. I don't think. I don't know. Again, like, I can't believe Tim is seeing the board as well as this. I think there's a lot of really sharp spreads to start the year, unless you have a lot of conviction. Either way, I'm leaning Cleveland, but I'd like you to talk me either way.
I don't have conviction. I'll just take the 8 points. It's week 1. It's 8 points. There's so many unknowns. Baltimore. See, it's funny. I'm going against Baltimore and Kansas City, but I think the world of both of them. And if we're lucky, that's the AFC title game, the game everyone wanted last year. It's, the last
One
two.
of the 2 teams to defeat the Ravens last year in a 14-2 season was the Browns. This is a divisional game, week 1. Given too many points, the sharp side is the +8. Got to take the +8. I don't know how you either bet the Browns, you don't bet this game. I don't know how you can lay -8 the Ravens. Like, you can take the money line and put them in some parlays or teasers, but you're a fool, I think, to lay 8 points with this team.
Well, I guess if you want to lay the 8 points with the Ravens, you have to remember that, sometimes they just win by 50 points.
Yeah,
'Cause
they're
that's
good
what
at
they
that.
do.
That's what they do.
Like, if they get the momentum rolling, like, they don't stop.
Yeah.
Is the entire thing. Like, but in the final three of their last 4 games last season, which Baltimore was a favorite, the under actually hit them. If the under hits in this game, the Browns are going to cover those 8 points, unless they're like completely inept. Like, you have to think with Stefanski that the Browns got better on offense.
I would
right?
hope so. My
Is Tim
case.
trying to curse Baker Mayfield here, his guy?
Honestly,
No.
my logic is kind of the same on both of these games that we've discussed, and I feel like instead of trying to get fancy and be different, I'm just going to stick with the big numbers to start a very weird year. One of them's a revenge game. This is a division game. I think this could be a really close, entertaining game, and I think Baltimore is amazing. It's going to have an amazing season. And
the
again,
world's gonna be on Baltimore.
on both
world.
games, like you, Pat, if Baltimore wins by 30, I'm not surprised one bit. If KC wins by 31, I'm not shocked at all. That's how amazing both those teams are. Too many points start the season.
So you're taking Cleveland. You're switching from Baltimore to Cleveland.
Oh, I feel like I was wrong. I'm always taking Cleveland. I like the points.
Okay, so round to Cleveland except for me. I am actually going to go with the Ravens. I think that their offense just continues to go. And just like Stefanski, first-year head coach with this team, yes, they improved the offensive line, but I trust John Harbaugh to have the team ready to go week 1. Ravens, good week 1 team. Past few years too. Under Harbaugh, they've just been amazing week 1. Just give them all. It's like KC with Andy Reid. Like, a lot of time to prep. Let's go.
It was last year Miami, right? It was like a tar
Yeah, but the
smack
Dolphins
game.
weren't trying in that game, as Geoff would say.
And then they played Arizona. Yeah, they just beat the tar out of everybody last year.
Until the back half of the season, then games started to get
Actually,
progressively
their
closer.
losses came in weeks 3 and 4.
Did they? Those are their
Yeah.
only 2 losses?
The Chiefs and Browns back to back. Then they didn't lose again till the Titans in the playoffs.
Hmm.
I looked it up. I did some research for the show.
Wow, that's pretty impressive. So last year, the Ravens were, 9-5-1 against the spread, and they were 6-4-1 as a favorite. And as a favorite of 7 or more, they were 4-3 against the spread. So it's tough when you have to lay these large lines. Do you think they can wax a divisional team? Maybe, maybe not. I'm going to say
It's also tough because they might not take that guaranteed field goal. They'll go for it, and I don't know if that helps you or hurts you.
I think that helps you in a -8. I want the team that's going for it and trying to score touchdowns if you have to cover a big number.
Yeah, I would. I think I would agree if I had to pick before the game which side of it they'll be on. And when betting Baltimore, you're expecting that they're not going to kick the 52-yarder on a 4th and 1.5, even though they got a kicker that can make it.
Eagles.
Also, can't imagine that line's -8 by kickoff. There's no way. There's just no way.
I align with Tim and his confidence, so I'm concerned.
The coin is going Cleveland as well. It went with KC in the Thursday night game. The only person on KC is the coin. Next game, Eagles at the Footballs of Washington. +6 for Washington. The first home dog we've encountered, 43 is the over-under in this game. The over hit in 4 of Haskins' last 7 starts last season, so that was after 5 straight unders for the Footballs before he took over. I like Washington in this game. I think the Eagles are really banged up, and the biggest thing, I saw that they're moving Peters back to left tackle now, but that offensive line is banged up. If there's one thing that the Footballs do well, they can get to the quarterback. Their front seven's pretty good. And I think they're going to cause just a lot of problems getting to that backfield, rattle Carson Wentz a little bit, who had been dealing with an injury. This feels like Eagles by 3 or maybe even just an outright loss. Like, I don't know how the Footballs are going to score points exactly. Maybe bombs to Terry McLaurin. Maybe Antonio Gibson's the real deal. I don't know. Just feels like a close game to me. Instead of taking the Browns against the Ravens, I much prefer taking Washington against Philadelphia. I like Washington. It's the first game I actually feel good about, +6.
You actually might bet this game.
Yeah, I think I can find a better line than 6-2.
I said, like some self-diagnosed Tourette's there for a second.
Tim, are you on the Footballs?
No, I'm taking Philadelphia. Not with a ton of confidence because I love home dogs in division. So this is very out of my comfort zone to not be taking them. But just I don't see anything. I don't see how Washington's offensive weapons can score enough points to win or cover the number. I mean, to cover the number, they probably got to get to what, 27?
10?
Probably.
What?
No,
What the hell are you, what are you
Philly
talking
can
about?
score. Philly can score.
What are you talking about?
Philly can
They have to
score.
get to
They
20.
scored last
They
season.
have to get to 27 to cover the 6.
I kind of think they do.
So then your favorite bet of the week is team total over Eagles. Then
I
I mean,
agree.
this was the what?
that is
14th
the only thing that you should be betting this week if you actually think that.
This was the
Make
14th
one bet
best
over-
offense in football versus the 30th best offense. There's such a massive disparity in the quality of offenses in this game by the statistics that it
Yeah, but
becomes very difficult.
what are those statistics telling you? Haskins didn't start till like week 10 last year.
It's telling me that Washington doesn't have the talent to keep up with Philly, who's a good team. I'm sorry. I don't think Washington can score between 20 and 24 in this game, and that's what they'd have to do, right, to cover. I don't see it. So I'm taking Philadelphia.
The coin
And I'm
is
teasing them. And
Oh,
I'm teasing them. They're the first part of a 5-team, 6.5 point tease. We're taking them down.
take him to plus a point or half point.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, usually I hate teasing through 0, but it's okay.
But I'm
here 'cause
going
it's
to
a
do
half-
it first pick of the year doing it.
It's a half
teasing
point,
right
and
through
it-
0.
And it's worth doing if it gets you through several key numbers and other picks, which it happens to do here.
I'm feeling the plus 225 now with the way Tim's talking. This game to me reeks of 13 to 10.
Didn't they play last year, week 1, and it was a real sweat job?
Yeah. Washington got up big, and then Philadelphia stormed back to take the game.
I think the Eagles aren't really going to hit their stride till like week 5, 6, 7 once everyone gets healthy. Like they're looking to they might cut Elshon Jeffrey. Their Rager's already out. Their offensive line is banged up. Wentz is hurt. And all they really did, I mean, substantial moves on the defensive side is get Slay, which is huge considering that their secondary was god awful last year. But I don't know. It's just, it feels like that Washington's going to everything that they have in the arsenal, they're just going to deploy week 1. Week 2, I'm probably not so high on Washington, but whatever tricks they have up their sleeve, and like you said, weird special team stuff. Steve Sims, both like with trick plays on offense and in the return game, is quite good, and he's just super speedy. A lot of speed on the Washington side, so maybe that gives the Eagles a little bit of fits. I just don't think that they're going to put I think the defense on Washington, especially like I said, the front 7 is going to keep this a low scoring game. I like the under, and I like Washington.
You sort of alluded to it at the end. I like Washington because I really believe it's a kitchen sink game for Washington, and Eagles have shown like the division never really is too good. They just have time. I feel like Washington will feel a lot more desperate in this game, despite me thinking they'll be horrible this year. I like Washington plus the points. I'm taking the underdog. It feels like everywhere until I don't, which is coming up.
Yeah, I actually typed this one into ftmbets.com and trying to find like the best spread available. I found a 7 out there. I didn't like the juice on it, so I'd probably still take the 5.5. I don't think it was worth it to pay like minus 130, but you can get it or close to like even money on the 6.5 at some places. So again, one of the reasons to get this tool, just saves you money. You pay for it, and then it saves you money in the long run because you get better lines and better numbers and better vig on that, so you're not just wasting it all away. But Washington plus 6 for me. Indianapolis, Jeffrey.
Yeah.
Phillip Rivers.
I'll be busy.
In Saxonville. Jags are 8-point underdogs at home with our boy Minshew Walk at quarterback. 45 is the over-under in this game. What fun stat do I have for this one? I wrote them all down.
I can go first.
I'm just going to give you the stat right off the hop. The under was 5-1 in Phillip Rivers' last 6 games as a Charger and as a 7-point favorite. And Jacksonville isn't likely to help. Since the beginning of 2018, they averaged just 13.3 points in losses, the second lowest rate in the league. I actually like Jacksonville in this game.
Go.
I think they're going to score points. I think with Minshew is real sneaky, like garbage time gold here. They could be down like 21 going into the fourth quarter. And then all of a sudden he's like running on 4th down for 35 yards. I just worry about their ability to actually push it in. But there's one spot in the Saints secondary where they struggle, and the Colts, is on deep passes. And Minshew to Chark is a real thing. And I think he's going to get behind them once, maybe twice. And even with Rivers, like this is a team that wants to slow the game down, run the ball with Marlon Mack, dump it off to their running backs. I don't think they're going to be pushing the pace of this game. I just don't see them being like a super high scoring team. Now, the counter would be that Jacksonville's defense is fucking awful. And you might be able to run it with Marlon Mack and score 40 points anyway. I think if they can keep the Colts to 30, that they'll cover the 8. Lose like 30-24, that kind of thing. But they'll be down like 30-10 most of the game.
Okay, you said something 2 times now. They'll be down 21 and they'll be down 30-10. That's exactly what's going to happen. They're going to put on a bit of a show.
This is also first Rivers game.
They're going to put on a bit of a show. Rivers plays his best football, it feels, in Jacksonville. No, the Colts are going to win this game. I guess I do need to worry about the back door. You present the case for that. But the Colts are going to win this game quite comfortably. There's going to be a fire in his ass, and he's got a bad team, and he's going to look good doing it.
Well, no, Tim, let me throw this to you then, because there's a lot of concerns about like Big Ben coming back. Maybe he's washed. Isn't Rivers washed? Didn't we just see him?
We talked about this.
Yeah, I don't think that Ben is washed, but we just saw evidence of Rivers being fucking terrible last year. So why is he good all of a sudden?
Well, put it this way. The guy because I won't get to it later. The person who played left tackle last year for Phillip Rivers isn't on the Chargers and didn't get picked up anywhere in the goddamn league. And that's on the freaking Chargers. He can be Phillip Rivers there. Is he washed? I said this about every quarterback that picked a new team, as good as they all were. If Tannehill turns into a wide receiver pumpkin, no one's surprised. If Cam Newton gets hurt and is just injury prone at this point, are you shocked? You're disappointed, but I don't think you're shocked. If Brady finally plays like he's 43, you're disappointed, but can you be that surprised? No. If Bridgewater was just lifted by the great team around him in New Orleans and that coaching staff, are you surprised? No. If Phillip Rivers is just throwing interceptions ad nauseum again next year, and he is at the end of the road, and there was no reason for someone to bring him on board, can anyone be realistically shocked? No. But he's going to have a great day on Sunday.
Tim, where are you going this? Me and the coin got Jacksonville. Tim has Indy.
Yeah, you're going to give me 8 points and the better quarterback. I better take it.
Minshew walk in your face, Phillip Rivers.
Well, this is a suicide game. This is easy.
You're taking the road Colts?
Probably, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not in. I was being flippant. I'm not in love with this. I kind of expect to lose this bet, but it's a matter of principle that I'm just not. Certainly couldn't pass on 2 home dogs in a row, and certainly not 2 division home dogs in a row. Bigger points. Again, new quarterback, new system. I think Minshew's a very underrated quarterback. I don't know with Phillip. I honestly don't. So give me the 8 points. If I lose, so be it. It's a matter of if you bet this type of game over and over and over again, taking the 8 points, you will cover more often than you won't.
I agree with him, and that's but this is a circumstantial thing.
That you love Phillip Rivers?
That the Jacksonville Jaguars are going to go above and beyond to be horrible, and they'll make their best efforts after they're being embarrassed for being how horrible they are. This game could be like a first month Miami game last year.
Yeah, this does feel like it could be like 45-0.
They're trying to do something deliberately. The family that owns it owns pro wrestling too. They got a plan, and they got a storyline, and they're not going to F it up. They are not going to F it up. They're not.
Listen.
They're not.
Cutting Fournette does not move the needle for me
No, of
whatsoever.
course, a running back.
They're,
He's a
they're
pick.
exactly
Pick
the same
Fournette.
with or
Yeah,
without. They might be better with Fournette because now they
But
don't,
it's like the
now they
five
don't have to give
defensive
him
players.
It's the defense that worries me. Yes, but the defense was bad last year too, and they were still 7-9 against the spread.
And the Colts front seven is outstanding. Do they have back end concerns? Absolutely. But that front seven is absolutely outstanding.
Even on all three levels, the Colts defense is
They
very
don't-
solid.
They don't have the Colts as a team. I mean, it could be quarterback, but they don't have a weakness.
I still think that they would have been better off signing Jameis instead of Rivers,
I agree because I think Jameis could win MVP.
just like Tim did last year.
No, but I think
Or
Jameis.
just keeping.
I
Brissett.
think in
Brissett was
20.
fine.
I think in 2020, if Jameis Winston started 16 games, he can be an MVP. I don't think Phillip Rivers has that. So I agree.
And I think their downside's exactly the same: 30 picks.
That I would hope not with what the Colts structure can give Phillip. I think he's gonna look.
I don't think they're going to ask him to do all that much. Like I said, I think he's going to turn around.
But that
and
game,
hand the ball
they're
off.
gonna like they are going.
If this is like a 10-10
They're gonna try to
game-
show off.
If this is like a 10-10 game at half, and like Rivers
Big
has
trouble.
If
Big
Rivers have to
trouble.
drop back and like throw 45 times, he's throwing at least 2 picks. That's what he does.
He's gonna look good. He's gonna look fresh. He's gonna look good. He's gonna look rejuvenated. He's banging a new girl. He's gonna look good. I mean, sadly, he's banging the same girl forever. He's got all the kids, but you know what I mean in the football sense. He just feels fresh.
All right, you ready?
No, we're not there.
We're there.
Oh yeah, we are. Okay.
New York Jumbo Jets. Tim's Jumbo Jets with Postmaster Fred not even in attendance against New York's real team, the Buffalo Bills, the only team in New York, -6.5 for the Bills. At home, 39.5 is the over-under. Last year, Buffalo was 6-1 outright when as a favorite last season. They were only favored in 7 games last year. They went 6-1 overall in those games. Their 85% win rate was only bettered by Baltimore when favored in a game. So, Tim, this is your team. I want to hear how there's no way the Jets don't cover the 6.5.
I expect us to cover the 6.5. Put it that way. Fireman Ed wouldn't have been at this game anyway. It's in Orchard Park. It's not in Gotham. So your statement to begin with was foolish.
He can't go to Buffalo? That's impossible?
He doesn't travel usually on the road to.
Is it because he's not? Is it because he has to go like door to door? He's not allowed to like leave his neighborhood without being tracked.
Let's face the
Is it like one of those things because he's a mailman? Like, through sleet and snow, you can't stop delivering the mail. Is it one of those things?
Fireman, you fool. Now let's face
wait,
the matter.
Paul has a question to start off with.
I just wanted to say he wouldn't last a minute at in that tailgate. That old guy, come on.
I've been at that tailgate. If I can last at that tailgate, he can last at that tailgate. Yeah, let's face the matter squarely. The Jets offense is healthy now and is ready to roll. And
the
I'm
Jets
really
offense.
excited.
Hold on. The Jets offense is not healthy. They signed a creative player off waivers today.
No, and then put him on the IR. All the top receivers are ready to go for week 1. All the tight ends ready to go. We're healthy. We're ready to roll. Getting too many points in division. Team we played week 1 last year. We're up 16-0 in the fourth quarter. Sam was sick and they couldn't hold on to the game. And Buffalo sneaked out a win against us. So you know what? I'm ready for the rematch. You talk about rematch of Texans Chiefs. This is a week 1 rematch too. Sam's been getting a lot of ink. People are getting excited. I'm getting excited. I woke up this morning. It's week, and I'm thinking about Mims, and I'm thinking about Perriman, and I'm thinking about Crowder just taking advantage of. Buffalo can pay White all they want in the secondary, and he can take out Perriman if that's what he sees fit. We are just going to run a conga line through that secondary with the rest of the receivers, and you won't be able to catch us. I expect we should be able to expose what I think is a wholly overrated back 4 in Buffalo. And the question will be, can the Bills score enough points to keep up with us? Because we are going to score. Put the hammer down. We're getting 30 plus in this game. The question is, can Buffalo?
30
Buffalo can
plus.
score.
You're running out the gimp squad at wide receiver.
No, you didn't.
Really good.
Those
I think it's
receivers are
gonna end
so
up being a
funny. They don't
30
scare anybody.
And they're all hurt.
They might make plays, but it's so
But
weird.
I don't think it's going to be a rout. I think it's going to be a game that's going to come down to the last couple of possessions. It could go either way. I think it's going to be a high-scoring, tight game. I think the Jets win it 30-27. That's my pick. I think that it's a game that people are sleeping on. It's going to be an exciting game. But I think that Buffalo secondary is going to get, we're like Mike Tyson, punching you in the mouth and knocking you down. That's who we are. That's what we do on offense. And Buffalo is going to come to learn that very quickly.
Question.
So,
I have a question.
ready.
And this is actually a really determining factor in which side I can go on, because I could be swayed either way in this game. It's a lot of points for Buffalo, 6.5. Is Safe Space Sam's therapy peacock traveling with him to Orchard Park? Is that allowed in the building?
I'm not even going to dignify that with an answer.
Well,
but
I need to know so he doesn't have a mental breakdown on the sidelines.
Sam, the hammer of the Bills, is going to have a great game. The Jets are in the second leg of a free money 6.5 point teaser. I don't know how you could play it any other way. So tease them up 6.5 points.
So get him up to 13.
Yep.
Are you betting the team total here or the over in
No,
this
he
game?
didn't.
the over-
You mentioned
the
it.
over is
This
definitely
thing's
a
clearing
Yeah,
by
the
over
Jets are
2
going to get to the over
touchdowns.
anyway.
You got the
I'm not-
Jets over
I'm not
30.
comfortable. I'm not a good over-under better. I have to say that's not my milieu.
You're not a
it's not
good
my
bettor
Mets.
to begin with.
It's not my métier, but
The
I
Jets
would
are
be
probably being
inclined
asked to
take
score.
the over.
The Jets are probably being asked on the team total for what, 17 points?
Probably
Yeah, that might be over.
16 and
that
a half?
should
Less
be,
than that.
that'll be over before the 2-minute warning of
If
the
it's
first.
40, yeah, 16 and a half.
Did you just hear that?
Then why don't you just bet that instead of betting this ridiculous teaser? Just put all your money on that, and that parlayed with the Eagles team over can't lose.
He's
If
got
the Bills
it before.
defense sucks, just bet the Jets team total and be on your way.
I think Paul's very nervous about the receiving talent that we are going to be
My
attacking.
my biggest concern is who does Tre'Davious White cover?
Yeah,
because you guys don't have a legitimate number one.
That's a good point.
Like he's gonna be
Yeah.
like they're just like just stay on the
No,
right.
in
Like whatever
games like
jabroni lines up over there, you got him.
in games like that, it's annoying when you have like an elite corner one against a team that actually doesn't have a top receiver, because you can just take White out of the game without really losing anything.
Exactly. Yeah, that's an advantage for the Jets by being so
No,
shitty at
I
wide receiver.
agree. No, Tim can't even see that. He's blind.
No, but I think the move here is like if you want to bet this game, bet over Jamison Crowder receptions. He's going to catch like 13 balls in this game.
I like
He
the
should
Jets.
have a very nice game.
I like the Jets. It should be within a touchdown this game. These two teams play.
Tight
It's like the
games.
13-12 stupid game. Hopefully the Jets don't need a touchdown on the winning drive like to go to overtime, and they're just like down 4 and I can cover without them accomplishing anything.
Well, then you got to watch out for old Sammy Picks.
Because that's what I feel like this game is going to be. Like the Bills win 17-13, like 19-17. Standard Bills Jets. I'm taking 6
Yeah,
and a half.
2014, 16, 13.
The Jets
one of
might
those
win
games.
this game, but I don't see anything Tim's talking about as some like air show going on.
No, I think that the Jets are very live in this game for the sole purpose that I don't think there's going to be a lot of points. That's just going to be close the entire way. Then whoever gets the good break ends up winning.
Nah,
this
we're
game.
going to be great. We're going to be great. I'm feeling it. I'm very
I
solidly
was-
wrong about.
I was going to take the Jets. I think it's too many points, but hearing him talk about this, I'm taking the Bills. The Bills are going to win like 35-0.
No, but honestly, Pat, you know how this works.
He just cracked a Diet Coke because he's too amped up.
This is exactly how it works. Your ideal scenario literally is a flawless week 1 victory. And this guy comes in next week, Super Bowl samming up the show again. Because we've been there before and it was glorious.
It is pretty good when the Jets like rout week 1. Remember when they beat the Lions
Yeah,
on
that's
Monday
it.
night?
Yeah.
Oh my God, 16-0. Let's go through the schedule again. I don't see a loss. MVP.
Well, we got the Niners next week early, and I'm telling you, we win this game. The Niners, we could knock them out too. The Niners, we could be in good. We get this. Everything starts for us if we get this win. Things begin to unfold.
I mean-
you get this win, you get the confidence. Some tough games early, but you can start punching them out as you go down. But we got to get this game. I think this game is, it sounds silly because it's the first game. There are 15 more games, so it can't be that important. But my goodness, is this a hinge game for the season? Because this will just catapult us forward. And so, yeah, I'm really confident. I'm really feeling good about it. Buffalo does have good players, but we're better and we're going to win. And I just know it in my gut.
He's a very hungry man. The gut rarely lies. Yeah, I'm going to take Buffalo. I'm probably not going to bet this game. Like I said, I like Crowder over receptions. That's probably the bet I will make, if any part of this game. Next one. Oh, Tim, I know who you're taking here. Miami at New England. -6.5 for the Patriots at home. 42.5 is the over-under in this game. Teams favored by at least 6 points with an over-under below 45 actually won 88% of their games outright last season, which is kind of crazy. You'd think that with unders and a spread of at least 6 points that there wouldn't be as many blowouts, thinking because it's just with the same logic that I tried to apply to the last game where, if it's going to be an under, it's probably going to be close. That just hasn't seemed to be the case. But Ryan Fitzpatrick starting for the Miami Dolphins, Geoff. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? I feel like it's a good thing if they want to win, but you could throw 9 picks.
That's a good thing. I think it's a good thing. Because two first live snaps as a Dolphin fan, that would make me nervous. That should happen naturally. I am taking the underdog. I'm taking the points. It's a lot of points.
So is the coin. I think you play this either way. Like, I don't think that this line is right because it's right where it feels like you kind of sway either way on it, but we don't know what the Patriots are going to be like, both defensively, because like half their players opted out because of COVID, and then with Cam at quarterback, maybe their offense is better. I mean, it should be better than it was last year because it wasn't very good last year. That the Patriots could be really good or really bad. I have no feel for it. I tend to believe in Cam Newton, so I'm going to take the Patriots -6.5. But if you're feeling like this is going to be a close game, I think the Miami money line might be the play because maybe New England just sucks.
Nah, I don't think so. I think the play is Patriots -6.5. Patriots are my survivor pick. I think
Trying to curse them early, huh?
No. I don't have any faith in this Dolphins team. I said so on the show. I think this is bad news for Tua that he couldn't win the starting job against Fitz.
What are you talking about? The guy's
other QBs in this division who started week 1 in their rookie year and played amazingly. So the idea that Tua had to be protected, I'm a little dubious about that.
Are you dubious about Jeff's quarterback too, who's not starting?
No, honestly, I think if they'd given an open competition, he would have had a chance to win, but I don't think they gave an open
Was there an open competition with Tua and Fitzpatrick? Wasn't it the plan always to start Fitzpatrick?
I mean, how could there be an open competition? There's no rookie orientation.
Well, there's a camp. There's training camp, and the coach can make a decision. In this game, I just think the Dolphins are threadbare in a lot of important ways. Yeah, the Patriots have lost people on defense, but the Patriots are not going to. Patriots ended last season with an embarrassing loss to the Dolphins in Foxborough that ruined their season. Another revenge opportunity right out of the chute to put the Dolphins right back in their place. I think the Patriots will be hungry for the game, and I think they win it. I think the Patriots have something to prove this season without Brady, a new face, a new image. I don't know how long it persists. I said this team would be a 7 or 8 win team. I think that's about right. But this is a game I expect them to put a good foot forward and to squish the fish. Give me like I said, Patriots. We're going to take them in the survivor pool only because there's no other team I really love this week in terms of survivor.
And you're teasing them down to pick them, I assume.
Of course. Why wouldn't you?
All right, New England
Can't lose that.
Oh, he's really trying to curse the Patriots here. It might work. I'm going to take the Patriots -6.5 too. The Dolphins were 9-7 against the spread last year, despite being like the worst team in football for 4 weeks and not covering any of those games.
Yeah, give me the Dolphins.
Flores, and you have the Flores factor too. He knows this team. How does Belichick play against like former coaching staff? Is it like split?
He used to
pretty
be
good.
really,
I think he does pretty good. But I
bet it's been worse.
I don't know. I see a weekend of really close 1-score games that obviously could get blown out late, but
I kind of like Miami this year. I do think they're a dark horse to win this division. I guess it would start here by knocking off the Patriots. Maybe the Patriots aren't very good, and then it feels like all things are equal in that division all of a sudden. Anyway, here's a fun one. Seattle at Atlanta. Is this the best game of the early slate? Like the actual best viewable game?
it should be entertaining.
Yeah. Like you
Packers Vikings. I think Packers Vikings has a case for it.
I think both these teams could be better. I don't know what to make of Atlanta here, but they're 1.5-point dogs at home against Seattle. Again, West Coast team coming early, but it's the first game of the year, so that probably doesn't make a difference. 49 is the over-under in this contest. And let's see, what fact do we have about this game? The Falcons are 10-2 outright over the past 3 seasons when they are home underdogs and score at least 23 points. And their implied team total is 23.5 this week. So that looks good. But Geoff, this usually comes down to what we like to talk about with Atlanta. How do you assess Seattle's defense this year? Is it going to be the regular Seattle defense where they just try to bruise people to death? Because if that's the case, they're going to win this game.
I like Atlanta.
You like Atlanta?
I think at home versus Seattle, decent spot for them. Kind of expect Seattle to have a typical Seattle season. And I'm not even that high on Atlanta for this year. But I think, excuse me, I think it's a good spot game. I think Atlanta's going to come out and get them.
I'm just really curious to see how that defense looks.
Atlanta's healthy.
I think it'll
at
be
the moment.
okay, but not that impressive.
Yeah,
I
well,
don't
you
know. I'm not that
you
hyped
you
for
you,
Seattle.
you have as many Seahawks fans have pointed out to me on Twitter about Tim's just natural bias against the Seahawks.
Yeah.
Now that the Jets own their pick, like you had pointed out,
Yeah.
that he's just going to pick against them in every game this year. I think Seattle wins, so I'm going to pick Seattle -1.5. I don't think it matters. Road, West Coast. Russell Wilson's just the best player in this game.
It does. It certainly does matter. Probably more this year than ever before because teams are flying later than ever before. They're not going in advance to sort of get ready. They're like leaving as late as you can. So if any year that's going to matter, this is going to be the season. And there's already a pretty good track record that it does matter. You got a Falcons team that plays well at home, a Seattle team that I think is okay, but not that great. You've got an Atlanta team that's pretty healthy. Atlanta team that's got some that's got the same continuity Seattle does. I don't know. I think that it's a home dog. I feel really good about the Falcons in this game. I expect them to win, and the Falcons are a darn good team. I expect them to win.
So if you expect them to win, are you putting them on the teaser?
No, because I'm already getting +1.5.
But it's free money. You
honestly,
expect them to win.
I gotta leave room for my super lock and another pick that I really like. Can't have them all. I told you I had to be discriminating about leaving certain teams off. There are so many candidates.
I can't believe you feel this confident in so many of these games.
I do. This is like one of those years where the Academy Awards, has more than 10 pitchers they want to nominate for Best Picture, but they can only nominate 10. Like some years you only get 5 or 6. This year, like there's so many games I love this week. And maybe it's just because I'm really hyped for football. I mean, maybe that's part of it. And I appreciate my own biases here, but I really love Atlanta in this game. And but I'm not putting them on there because just other games I love more.
What Atlanta defense do you expect to see? The one from the first half last year or the one from the second half last year? Because it's not like they got remarkably healthy overnight. They just got better all of a sudden. I just don't know how they slow down the Seattle offense. The Seattle will do the thing where they just turn around and hand the ball off to either Chris Carson or, if he doesn't play, Carlos Hyde like 88 times instead of just throwing it to Metcalf, who no one can cover, or Lockett, who no one can cover. That should be the move against Atlanta. I'm just curious about how they're going to try to attack them on offense. I just don't see how they slow down the Seattle defense or Seattle offense if Seattle just wants to go back and chuck with Russell Wilson. That's me. Seattle, -1.5. Chicago and Detroit. Tim's Detroit Lions. Stafford's going to be MVP. They're favored by 3 at home. 44 is the over-under, and the Lions have won 12 straight games outright when favored at home against a divisional opponent. And 8 of those wins have come by at least 8 points over those 12 games. The average finishing point total has been a shade over 46, so that would lean Lions and over. And Lions big here, but Trubisky, strangely enough, in his career, the only team that he is good against him, the Detroit Lions. Like, actually, the only team he's been good against.
Well, they've been the worst of the teams he plays the most over the last couple of years. So that kind of makes sense, right? I mean, you're just thinking about it logically. I think I like the Lions in the game. I'm not like gung-ho about it. I actually think it's a very fair line. I think it's a really strong push candidate for week 1. But I will take Detroit at home, healthy. Stafford's rested from an injury, and last time we saw Matt Stafford, he was lighting the world on fire. So I appreciate and respect the Bears to a good degree. I think they made the right choice by giving Trubisky the keys to the car for one more year. I would have done the same. So would you. So would anybody. I think reasonable, but I still think the Lions should get this done. They have a little bit more skill on the front end. So give me the Lions in a game that I don't know I'm going to watch a whole lot of.
Yeah, this seems like the auxiliary TV game of the early slate. Although I guess Las Vegas, Carolina could be that too. I like Chicago to win.
Me too.
They have just, all things being equal, the offense in Detroit is better, but if Trubisky can play like semi-competently, maybe they can keep up on the scoreboard. And I just really think the Bears defense is a lot better.
I like Detroit. I'm sorry. I like Chicago. I don't love the game. I don't know. I do think they are the better team. I think the best unit in this game is the Chicago defense. If Trubisky is competent,
But they
It
have
should-
but Detroit has Adrian
It
Peterson
should be
now.
enough. There is just such a public perception like stink on the Bears. They're the butt of all the jokes.
Because everyone bet them to win the Super Bowl last year. Tim picked them to go to the Super Bowl.
and they screwed up the draft pick, and I don't think it's even fair to like put Mahomes on them. I mean, I guess you could put Watson on them, but they're just the butt of every joke. Like even during the NBA playoffs, it's like, oh, the Bears passed on Luka Doncic. Whatever. So give me the Bears. They'll try to wipe some of that stank off. I understand why they start with Trubisky because they feel like if you start with starting with Trubisky is like this is your last chance.
And when you
If it
pull him,
sucks,
it's over.
You
Yeah.
still have something.
Yeah, that's right.
At least like by him not winning the job, that indicates you're freaking done with this guy. And then if Foles isn't good, you're like, well, now we got to put in the guy like we pretty much know we're freaking done with. So here's your chance. And when you suck, we have a guy. Don't suck on Sunday because I might bet you the Bears. I don't love anything like Tim, but I actually might bet this game.
Yeah, I actually kind of like Chicago +3. So does the coin. The coin is on Chicago +3.
It doesn't watch the game.
Next one. Well, you just said you're not going to watch this game either.
Yeah, but it doesn't watch any of the games, so I don't respect the coin's opinion on anything.
I've only picked one favorite, and it's the Colts. Like,
Green Bay in Minnesota. This game is in Minnesota. 2.5 is the spread. The Vikings are favored by 46 is the over-under. Which Packers team are we getting here? When I talked to Pizzola, we actually brought up the Packers as a really curious case from last year, is that everyone really wanted to pile on to the Packers against them because they were just such this fraud team. They went 13-3, but the overlying metrics had them being like a 7-9, 8-8 team. But as he pointed out, it wasn't actually smart to go against the Packers because Vegas was making their odds as if they were an 8-8 team. But this seems like I feel like the Vikings should be bigger favorites than 2.5.
I'm high on the Vikings for this season. I like the Vikings in this game. I might bet this one also. It's
not prime time,
North
so the
games.
Vikings could win the game. Kirk Cousins can win a game if it's not in prime time. I'll take the Vikings too.
If people didn't know, I was listening to I put up the new Custy Awards are out. Those dropped over the weekend. You can find that up on Mayo Media Network. But earlier on the weekend, I released the first 2 Custy Awards. And in the very first Custy Awards, I actually went back and listened to them, which really cracked me up. I suggest everyone go do that. But Tim said that when it was right when the Vikings signed Cousins, that Kirk Cousins would never win a playoff game. Tim, you were wrong about that.
I was wrong about that. They got a fluky win against the Saints when they had spent the entire year calling that exact play pass interference 100 times out of 100 on review and didn't even review that play. And then afterwards, the referees agreed, or the NFL said, yeah, we really probably should have reviewed that play that the Saints got screwed on the year before in the title game. So yeah, you're right. Based on pure luck, the Vikings did get a win last year, and then they got crushed by a good team when it came down to the business end of the season. But yeah, and Cousins, if memory serves, still has not won a primetime game because, when the lights are the brightest, he plays the worst. But this game's at 2:00. It's an afternoon game. They should be getting 3. They're only getting 2.5. So there is a slight bit of value on the Vikings. Ipso facto, I'll take the Vikings.
What's the deal with Cook? He's going to play, right?
Yeah, there's a few circumstances here. Like, I want to see the injury report for their wide receiving core, for one thing. I want to see if Dalvin Cook's actually playing, although Dalvin Cook is better than Alexander Mattison, but I don't think it's a huge loss if Cook doesn't play, although he tears up the Packers. That Mattison is perfectly fine to put in him, Tim, and the Boone King, and all of a sudden you're good to go.
Or Olesen, their other guy.
Yeah, he plays for Atlanta. Quadre
I thought
Olesen?
he played for Minnesota. Yeah, I thought he played for Minnesota.
Well, maybe why don't you watch these games, then you'll know who plays for who.
Yeah, fair enough. Sound
What's-
like a coin over here.
I know. What do I got here? The Packers were 3-1 outright when being an underdog last season, the highest win rate among teams that were that are a week 1 dog. So maybe just the Packers have the good mojo. I mean, if it comes down to the classic circumstance of just bet on the better quarterback, the Packers do have the better quarterback. Although Cousins is not nearly as bad as Tim seems to believe. Cousins is very adequate, and he can win.
I'm very confused as to why Vegas didn't hang a full 3 for the Vikings.
I think it's because people like to bet the Packers.
They do, but this game should always be. This is like a Ravens-Steelers game. This game always comes out at 3 when both quarterbacks are healthy and there aren't like massive reasons not to have it that way. So I'm very suspicious. I almost think it smells so bad you should take the Packers, but I'm going to be a dum-dum and take the Vikings.
It's a round of Vikings, including the coin here on the show. the Las Vegas Raiders. I got it right. I didn't say Oakland. At the Carolina Panthers, Matt O'Doyle rules. Coming in, new head coach, Teddy B, in the place to be under center. 3-point dogs at home. 3.5-point dogs at home, sorry. 47.5 is the over-under. I think the Raiders are garbage. So I'm going to take Carolina at home. Carolina was like adequate last year with Kyle Allen. Like no matter how bad Teddy Bridgewater is, like their offense still moved. They have McCaffrey. The Raiders defense sucks. Maybe they can score a bunch of points, but like they've had a bottom five.
Coach, though.
Okay. Didn't want to coach the Jets because their team stunk too much, so he went over to
I never
Carolina.
wanted him anyway. So
No,
let the Panthers have him. Now, I like the Panthers this season. But I think that Gruden is, and he proved last year to be a better coach than a lot of people were giving him credit for. So I'm very torn here. I think the line is the right line. I think, if I were to, close my eyes and pick the line, I would have said the Raiders by 3.5.
Honestly, why are the Raiders favored in this game at Carolina?
People like
Carolina's
the Raiders.
a bad team. Was a very bad team last year, and they've had a lot of change and turnover, and you really don't know who you're getting. This might be the team you know the least about, perhaps going into week one, than any team in the NFL. Who knows what that offense is going to look like with a brand new coach and a brand new quarterback, new receiving talent. Other than McCaffrey, like it's a real potluck with what you're going to get from that team. So I get why the value, or the minus 3.5 is on the Oakland, but I'm going with Carolina. 3.5-point dogs at home. Wouldn't bet it, wouldn't tease it, don't love it, but it's a principal play. When in doubt, I'll take a home dog.
I just like Carolina to win this game. Like, I worry about their defense. I actually don't worry about their offense too much. Like, yes, McCaffrey is the best offensive player in the league, non-quarterback division. Even I guess Michael Thomas is probably better. But like DJ Moore is no slouch. Tim's boy, former bomb squad member Robbie Anderson, now on the team.
I like him.
It looks like Ian Thomas is going to play with that foot injury, and you still have Curtis Samuel as a gadget guy. Like the Raiders have had a bottom, I think, 6 defense each of the past 6 years. Like they have a bad defense. They're going to give up points.
You also pick against the Raiders almost every single week on this show. That is one of your biases, to bet against the Raiders.
I actually went back and looked at this. I picked the Raiders 6 times in 16 weeks last year.
Yeah, so 10 times a year you don't pick them. Like, so it's not often.
I mean, that's going to be the trend for a lot of teams. Usually I pick teams all the time and don't pick against them a lot of time. Like you're making it seem like I went, I picked against the Raiders 16 times last year. Which
I
is
just
not
don't think
true.
you like them. I just feel like you have
I just don't think that they're very good. They were 8-8 against the spread last year. They were 1-3 against the spread as favorites. It just seems like if you say it's going to play a factor for Seattle going to Atlanta, being on West Coast, playing an early game on
Carolina.
I know, but you're giving me heat about the Raiders here. Like I just think.
Well, you asked how is the number that way, and I gave you the case.
I don't get what the case is. Your case was you don't pick the Raiders. That doesn't sound like a case.
No, continuity, good head coach, a team that does have a lot of weapons still, and a team in Carolina that the league and the betting markets don't respect yet. I think it's a lot of people saying we don't know who Carolina is, we don't like them. We know who the Raiders are, and that's good enough. I think that's why the number is there. I mean, if you really think the number is way off, then you definitely should take the Raiders. That when in doubt, that actually is the play. But I'm going to take Carolina without much confidence.
Yeah, like when I wrote down the games before looking just 2 weeks ago, when I was just really hammering down on NFL prep, I had the Carolina favored by 3 in this game. So I like Carolina a lot.
I don't really have an opinion. I'm going to take the home team. You guys both are strong on Carolina. I could see it.
But he's not strong on Carolina. He's just picking Carolina.
Well, I don't think I don't think they're going to have a good season either. So even them getting off 1-0, I know you seem to be on them to have.
I kind of like them too.
I think they're going to score points. Like I don't think their defense is good, but they get to the quarterback. Which, if the Raiders are going to get credit for anything, they have a good offensive line, so it will mitigate this. I mean, 47.5 is the over/under. I think it probably goes over. I see points in this game.
Yeah, I think it's like a 27-24 Raiders win.
I think they look good. I don't know. For all the talk of how worried I was about like the new coaches, I'm actually seemingly betting all of them. That could be a problem.
Could be. Maybe you'll reassess when it comes down to it later on in the week.
Give me Carolina. Yeah.
All right, round of Minnesota, round of Carolina. We're getting on the same page here.
We're going to the afternoon.
Oh no. We are not going to the
Oh.
afternoon just yet. We have to take a quick break for an interlude of Cust Corner.
Cust Corner, it's Cust Corner. Cust Corner, it's Cust Corner. He's got the hottest takes with the highest stakes. He should be president of the United States, but it's Cust Corner, it's Cust Corner. Cust Corner,
Tim, you got anything for us here?
I had forgot to prep in particular. I don't know. What do you guys want to chat about? Is there anything particular you want to ask
No,
me about?
usually you come up with one mini topic for Cust Corner as we go through.
I mean,
this.
I saw on the Twitters yesterday, just as I was sort of perusing it, that that Tenet only made $20 million. That's concerning.
I'd like to go see that.
Tim saw it.
I
He loved it, yet said he didn't understand a second of it.
I found it to be perplexing.
So
but
then
I
I'm
also
not
loved
gonna
it.
get it.
Yeah, but Inception.
But it's Nolan.
Inception makes no sense. It's still a very enjoyable movie. Like, it's a fun experience to go watch.
I don't want to have not a clue what's going on.
But you know what? That's okay. Some of his movies are like Memento. You can't understand the first time through.
Okay, you know what?
Like-
I actually feel better knowing other people don't know what's going on. It's a worse feeling when like the people around you get what's happening, but you don't alone. It's like when you talk about hard putting. It's like, well, it's hard even for the good putters.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
like-
really fast greens, like really fast greens and really slow greens in golf mitigate
Yeah.
the problems. It's the average ones where the good putters really go. Paul, yes.
Yeah.
Since he doesn't really have a topic, I did notice that Tim retweeted a tweet from somebody that says, making fun of chain restaurants is classism disguised as
Oh, yeah.
cleverness. If you'd like to explain yourself on
Absolutely. I mean, I think that in a far more pithy way sort of sums up what I believe in a better way than I said it. I mean, a lot of the people who, if you say, what's the best restaurant in your town? And you say it's Chili's, or you say it's Boston Pizza or something.
Yeah, and people will be
look
like,
down
you
there-
have bad taste.
Or where the
Like,
hell do you
people look down-
live?
Yeah. Like, what
People look
backwoods shithole do you live in?
Thank you very much. This is exactly the classicism that we were talking about. The idea that one class of people are just better than another because the types of people that like to go to chain restaurants are the rubes.
Yeah, like you.
The people who look. That opinion are people looking down on the common person who likes to go to.
This from the same person who says that if you buy a $75,000 Mercedes, you have not purchased a luxury car. You've basically
Not lux- not-
you
not in the
basically
sense that
purchased a piece of
luxury
trash.
Yeah,
You just
like,
have
that's
bad
not a lux-
taste. That's
that's
all
not
you
a
need to
luxury
say.
vehicle.
This just sounds like people with very bad taste, not knowing where to go to properly eat. That's just the problem.
No, it's an attack against middle class values in a lot of ways.
No,
It
it's
really
not.
Is.
It's
Yeah,
really
it
not.
really is.
It's amplifying bad taste. Is all you're doing.
It's a broadside against what people like, what people can afford in some cases, and what.
Yeah, Tim. You know what? Better things tend to cost more. Hate to tell you.
Again, classicist. Better. According to whom? Who decides what the delicious meal is? The chef who makes it or the people who eat it? It goes back to Aristotle. Like, maybe it's the mass that decide what's better and what's worse.
Listen,
And I think there's a
it's
case
whatever
for
you
it.
want.
The general person is a fucking moron. So
Well, that's what you say.
no, they
but
are.
We live in an
There
entire
there
world.
is an average intelligence, right across the board, and some people are at the very, very high end. You don't get too many people at like the very, very low end pushing the average below that line. And if they love Applebee's, good on them. They can go there. I'm not going there.
No one said that you had to, but you would do well not to look down your nose in public at
Hey,
people who do
also,
like good
don't
apples.
tell me what to fucking do. I'll look down my nose at whoever the fuck I want.
Didn't say you can't. I said you would do well not to.
No,
not
I will
display
do
an
well to do whatever
classicist
I want.
attitude. To
I'm
show a
going to go to-
classicist attitude.
I will go to better restaurants than that.
You're welcome to do. I have no objection to that. I have an objection to people who get themselves into a bunch and look down at people who make different choices.
But no one is actually looking down on
There's
this.
something
You
mean.
feel like people look down on you because you know you're making the wrong choice.
No, they are. There's a sneering meanness to it, which is not conducive to a healthy society with black like that.
This
They
from
should
the
tell
same
me
person.
with more
Tim,
care-
Tim was driving down the road the other day and had to pull over because he was too triggered that KFC painted itself green for plant-based chicken. Because
There's a
why
green-
would they have that on the menu? Who would ever want that? Obviously, someone
was a
wants
gr-
it, Tim.
I drove by this green KFC and I had to stop the car. I was flustered when I saw this. I couldn't believe that they painted, like, it's one thing to have plant-based food, whatever. I think that's dumb, but whatever, maybe there's a market for it. It's another when you paint an iconic restaurant from red and white, stripes the bucket with the green on there to advertise as pig in a poke nonsense popcorn chicken, plant-based chicken. Like, who's that insulting? The fans, those of us who know and love KFC and are going there for the regular food. I don't need to see plant.
What, Tim? Tim, you don't need to buy it.
I don't need to buy it. But when you paint your restaurant green, what you're saying to me is the food that you used to like isn't good enough anymore. We're not interested really in catering to you and the things that you like and the traditions. But
they are catering to you. It's not like they took stuff off the menu. You can still order
painted
whatever
the restaurant.
So what?
They trust you so much that they still have your old favorites. You will return, and now they're going to just try this different approach.
Try to appeal to some more people to make some more money.
Rattled, pulled over.
I did. I was close to stopping where I was going anyway, but I made sure to stop. And I was like, oh my God. I cannot believe that this KFC painted itself green. I was incensed about it. And I forgot about it in my shopping and left. And then on my way back, I saw it again and forgot that it had been painted green. And I got upset a second time. Less this time because I knew it. But I still got upset again. It's like, I can't believe it. Felt like a virtual slap across the face.
KFC
That's what it
sucks,
felt like.
So don't worry about it.
How dare you look down on KFC, Geoff? See, you can either side with us, who eat at good restaurants, or Tim, who gets triggered about KFC.
I'm not a classicist. I'm a Democrat at heart, I suppose.
I
believe in the common wisdom of the common man.
Don't you brush your teeth with bottled water?
Yeah,
only
Dasani.
Only Dasani.
No, oftentimes I'll use the water from the water cooler.
But no tap water.
No, ugh. I don't like tap water. I don't even like using Britas. Even that's.
Were you this triggered when they changed Colonel Sanders to like Megan McCarthy or Melissa McCarthy?
No, because they were all actors. So what was the difference? It'd be different if the real Harlan Sanders were passed up for somebody else, but he's long since deceased. So
how do you think he would feel about this?
I'm sure he would be rolling in his grave if he knew that KFC was selling plant-based foods. That's one thing. Again, you want to put that on your menu. I don't have to buy it. I don't have to want it. But I can tolerate that. I'm a man of tolerance.
Oh, yeah.
But what I cannot abide is when you paint my restaurant green. What are you doing to me? Do you know how upsetting that is to some of us that want our normal chicken and I like things the way they are, and that is the way that they should stay. I don't need to have it painted green for some like pig in a poke thing that you're just going to have to change 6 months later when nobody buys this stuff and you get it off the menu. How dumb is that going to be? Like, I should consult for these places because I can tell them what they want. Just like how all these Diet Cokes are gone now because with the aluminum shortage, only the top selling flavors are available. And none of those crazy Diet Cokes are out there because they weren't popular, like I always said that they were. Again, time and history prove me right. And it's frustrating me. I guess we had something to talk about. I didn't even think about this, but now I'm incensed. Whew.
Imagine being this upset about a KFC changing colors at a local near you. I thought you were working on being less triggered this year.
You realize it's a coat of paint and it's a freaking ad campaign.
So?
Do you know they actually got rid of finger licking good because it's like anti-COVID?
I did see that. Well, I get that though for the time being. I understand. Yeah, you got it.
So they can't just be green to show that we now offer alternatives for
now
this
people
new
know
life?
that
marquee. Put it on the marquee.
But people don't know that. Like, KFC is so iconic.
You look at it, it's like, oh, it's
for
green.
something.
What's that?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They really need to go above and beyond to let people just say, okay, I'll try this.
And then as soon as they did, Geoff, people
shocking.
on Twitter started
Most places
going
KFC doesn't have the reputation with the rest of the world as it holds with you.
People started attacking them on Twitter right away by saying, well, do you clean the fryer oil every time you cook these chicken, popcorn chicken? Otherwise, it's not true vegan. Or it's like, even when they try to satisfy this hipster millennial crowd, even that's not good enough for them. So it's like, I hope KFC is happy with the bed that they've made. They've upset the true fans who are never going to leave them. and they're not going to get any
So,
anger comfort from the people they're trying to bring in.
If they've upset the true fans with the qualifier that you just put on it, who are never going to leave them, what the fuck's the difference?
Well, do they want to like hurt our feelings?
Yeah,
Like, I don't
you
imagine
know what? They
should.
don't care. You're going to buy their product anyway.
Don't the Jets hurt your freaking feelings all the time?
Yeah, but they don't mean to.
Fair enough. That was good.
Let's jump into the afternoon slate. Tampa Bay at New Orleans. Tom Brady. Tom Terrific. The old man himself is a 3.5-point dog at the Superdome. 49 is the over-under in this game. Leonard Fournette's on the team now. How could they be stopped, Geoff? How could
Can
the
I just
Bucs
say before Geoff
possibly
starts?
be stopped?
I want to say thank you to Geoff for not unfollowing me on Twitter, even though I picked Tampa to win the Super Bowl.
You're lucky. I gotta really like you. I'll just give me the Saints. I don't know. Tampa can get to the playoffs and be dangerous, and I'll eat my words, but I don't think September might be as kind to them as people like just assume it will be. Do I wish I had to lay this hook here? No. Should I maybe shop FTN bets and find where I won't? Maybe someone doesn't want to have to make me lay the hook because everyone loves Brady. He's got the 3 touchdowns to Gronk. The receivers and him will be on the same page. There's got to be a book that thinks that. So give me New Orleans. But for the purpose of the show, I'm going to lay the 3.5. Hopefully I don't have to when I actually look to make the bet.
I want to see what the odds are between 3 and 3.5. I bet you get 3.5 around even money, where you're probably going to play minus 25.
You know what?
Minus 125 for the 3. But here's the thing: the Saints are 12-2 outright in their last 14 games, with Breeze under center in a home game with a total of at least 49 points. With 8 of those 12 wins coming by at least 10. I think they waxed them in this game.
To your point, this doesn't feel like one. Like Tampa could win, whatever. You'll eat it. Am I shocked?
It's an NFL game.
Yeah, it's an NFL game. I can be wrong. Brady's great. I acknowledge that. But to your point, this is probably not the half point to worry about. It's not like a Ravens Steelers game or something.
that Raiders Panthers game. Where I feel like the hook in that game is like really big.
Yeah.
Or even the 2.5 with Minnesota.
Yeah.
Like if that's 3, I feel like that's a little bit different. 2.5. Yeah, here we
So
go.
give me the
feel
give
like-
me the Saints. Yeah.
I feel like the team that will be the least advantaged, or should I say the most disadvantaged by the lack of fans and home field, will be New Orleans. Essentially, they thrive not just on a fast track indoors, but in a ravenous crowd. They haven't got that anymore. So you take a Tampa team premised on speed and precision, and you give them perfect conditions to line up against you, and you have no fans in there. I think that is not the advantage for the Saints that it ought to be. And so I think 3.5 is too big of a number. I'm picking Tampa. I think Tampa will win. I mean, 2 years ago, we saw a much worse Tampa team come in against a much better Saints team and destroy all of
Totally
our...
different dynamic. You cannot
totally
bring that
different
dynamic to this one. The suicide game of the week.
Do you know why, though?
different.
Do you remember who picked the New Orleans
Fitzpatrick?
Saints as their suicide pick of the week that week in week 1? Who was it, Tim?
Jeff and I.
He had to let me join
We
him.
both did.
But yeah. He
And
couldn't
that's how
just
I
fall on
remember
that.
that
He
game.
couldn't just fall on that sword by himself there. He had to
Well, that's
remind
why I
me.
remembered that game. Why Jeff got upset because he remembered that game because we both got destroyed on it. But anyway, I think my point stands. I think the Saints lose the most from the lack of fans. And
I disagree.
Tampa-
I don't think
Okay.
that the fans matter whatsoever.
I disagree
Oh,
with
I
that,
think they
and
do,
I'll
though,
tell you
but
why.
we have evidence to show that it does.
I
Do we?
believe.
Just like how Seattle's so great at home, but actually aren't.
No, but we have evidence in all professional sports to show that crowds actually do make a decisive difference in football games when it comes to penalties that are thrown or not thrown,
Okay.
calls that are made or not made. Like there's hard evidence to suggest this. And the Saints, I think, are the team in the NFL that
Where are you
thrive
finding
the
this
most.
hard? I want to know where you found this hard
It's been
evidence.
around for a long time.
No, it's his
Just
perception.
Google it.
It's his
It's-
perception.
it's been
And he's
around.
turned
You
into
can find
reality.
it. Where is it? Well, I'm not going to answer that.
No, I was looking at it years ago in some game theory.
His
stuff.
perception is reality,
Yeah.
and
Tim
I don't
lives his
think
truth.
it's true.
No, this stuff
Um,
is true.
No, you live your truth. This is your truth.
I
not the
will
other.
say,
there's no team
Tim,
we're
you
disagreeing
can
with.
make a joke about it, but I believe for the home opener purposes, even the Detroit Lions are disadvantaged by this. Everyone would walk out to their home opener to somewhat of a ravenous field. Even the Chargers, who wouldn't be their fans, there would be fans. Like next
the
week,
other team.
yeah, they play Kansas City next week. The stadium would still be filled with people like there watching them play. To your other point, I don't think fans matter for the players. I think fans matter from what I've seen in some of these other sports. They matter for the refs. Someone's got to
that's the
be there.
main thing I was
Someone's
talking
got to be there to keep these guys accountable.
Are you saying that they need an accountability buddy? I feel like Tim would be a good accountability buddy.
The point is that home fans teams do get calls because of fans.
I'm just going to take the better team. I'm going to take the Saints, who are the better
get it,
team
but-
playing at home. The one thing that I do
The Saints
worry
have
about,
3 quarterbacks better than the Bucks as it pertains to 2020.
Brady could be great. He really could be.
Okay, but
with
to
these
say that
weapons.
Taysom Hill is better than Brady.
It's a
that is hot
joke.
take.
It's a joke.
That's
It's a joke.
That's a hot take.
Reel it in.
It's a
throw it in the
Jameis
trash.
Winston revenge game.
You could
I wish
cauterize
Jameis
a
was
wound
playing.
with that take.
I wish Jameis was playing.
Here's the problem. The Saints and the Rams were the 2 best teams against the spread last year, and the Chiefs. They were all 11-5. It's hard just because the market becomes really efficient, and it's hard to consistently be a great team against the spread. Even if you are a great team, eventually the spread will adjust against you. Like the almost 19-0 Patriots, eventually at the end of the season, they stop covering.
Okay, let me just ask this one. Taysom Hill was really unfair. If Jacoby Brissett was starting for the Bucks this week, what's the spread? 5.5, 6, 7, what?
6.
8.
8. I'm taking.
Like,
New
it's not like
Orleans.
the
I'm
Bucks
taking
defense
New-
is any good. It's not. They have a good
They
run
have a good
defense.
front seven.
No, they have a good defensive line and stopping the run. But you know what? Stopping the run doesn't matter.
I like New Orleans. I think you're actually. It's hard to get value on New Orleans, but I think because of what Tampa now represents, there is value on New Orleans. And I agree with your point. Screw the half point.
If they're going to win, they're going to win.
Yeah.
If they're going to lose, they're going to lose. I feel like if they're going to win by double digits. If they're going to lose, then it's probably going to be a field goal game, and Bucks are going to cover. Arizona at San Francisco. This line is lower than I thought it was going to be. It's San Francisco by 7 at home. 47 is the over-under in this game. But just looking at last year with Cliff Kingsbury, when I was listening to the Cussies, Tim hates Cliff Kingsbury. Called him a fraud, shouldn't be an NFL coach. I thought he was pretty decent in year 1. But in 2019, there was an average of 57.5 points per game in the 2 games that these teams played. These were high-scoring games. Like, the Kingsbury offense got to this defense with the way that they were able to up the pace and really get going. Now, Cardinals defense couldn't stop the 49ers at the same time. But it's not like San Francisco has this dominating defense. They're going to shut down Arizona. Just through tricks of the trade, it feels like Arizona's going to score points here. So I like Arizona plus 7.
This was one of maybe 2 games last year where Jimmy had to win it.
And he did.
And he did, late with a couple late big plays. I guess the Super Bowl would have been one of them. And the game, and the crazy game I think they played in New Orleans, where he made a ton of plays. I was like,
that was the greatest game of the year.
yeah. I'm with you, Pat.
second grade.
I'm taking all the points.
What was the greatest, Tim?
The last game of the
Jets
year.
walking
Seattle,
off
San
their
Francisco.
kicker?
No, that's Seattle, San Francisco Sunday nighter to end the season. That was the greatest. game.
Miami Jets.
8 field goals for Firkin.
Or no,
Hey,
the
you know what? I don't care. We deserved it. I'd have carried that kid off the field too. You kick 7 field goals.
Bengals Jets.
Yeah. Which I called, by the way, and never got the credit I deserved for it. The Cardinals are the play here. There's no doubt in my mind.
Didn't he? That was the week where he guaranteed. He literally said their season was a cakewalk, and they lost to the Bengals the next week. Now he's saying he called it in some reverse weird way.
Yeah, that's what he does. He would not. You know what? I
Jets
I
won the
retract
week.
my statement about him being a good accountability buddy because he can't hold himself accountable because he lives his truth.
The Jets won a game
Whatever
the
he
week
thinks
before.
right now is what has always existed to Tim.
He was on such a high that they're about to now run a table of games. They didn't even get going versus the winless Bengals. That's how I remember.
So good though.
Carolina. Sorry,
Arizona.
Arizona. Too many points. I'm into everything that's going on there.
Are they going to disappoint us really badly this year? Because I really like the Cardinals.
Probably
9-6-1 against the spread last year too.
I'm ready for the Niners to let me down.
But you picked Arizona.
on the teaser.
No, I'm talking about this season. The more I've thought about it, the more I'm more worried about San Francisco.
I think San Francisco is probably going to be fine. They'll be
Yeah, I don't know.
they'll be a lot like the Rams last year.
That would be a real disappointing season to miss the playoffs after going to the Super Bowl.
That's what a lot of teams who lose in the Super Bowl do if you're not in the Patriots.
Yeah, I know.
You ready? Primetime, Geoff? Not really the primetime game, but primetime for you. You got
Dance Romo.
You got your 1 o'clock game, and now you got your 1 o'clock team. You got your 4 o'clock team. I don't even know why this is a 4 o'clock game, but it's the Chargers at the Bengals. The Bengals are getting they're plus 3.5 at home. 44 is the total in this game. It's actually dropped down to 43 on the live line. Jeff, you were so confident in this game like a week ago. Then Derwin James goes down.
All summer from the moment the
But does-
schedule came out.
How many points is Derwin James worth? It's not like the spread changed.
No, I don't know why it's still 3.5. It's like the books know the Chargers are going to win, but actually might not cover because the money line is exorbitant. I mispronounced that. It's like minus 180, minus 190. It's freaking ridiculous. And I got to use FTN bets. I got to find that 3 points.
You're that worried about the half point with the Bengals?
I'm a little just worried.
You were talking about how the defensive line is just going to blow up this rookie. He's not ready for
No, it
this
was
smoke.
everybody. It all had to do with Derwin being there, my ability to call it a casket match. Do I expect the Chargers to win? Absolutely. Am I going to guarantee anything? No, can't guarantee anything. Our best defensive player isn't there anymore.
Bosa's not the best defensive
That's how amazing Derwin is.
I mean, when you have a sample of 3 games, it's just like how Hunter Henry is the best tight end in the half game he's ever played.
he's amazing too. And he's going to be really good. Tyrod loves a tight end because he's not good
This
at
is the stuff
other
I
things.
say and you yell at me about.
I am yelling at him.
I'm
I'm making fun of him for this, Tim. I know it might not sound like that in your warped mind.
No, I don't know what you're asking me. Yeah, Derwin James, I think, is better than Joey Bosa. He makes it incredibly tough to game plan against.
Well,
You
it's
don't
actually
know
really
what-
easy to game plan against because he doesn't fucking play.
Said I
Yeah.
was happier today.
McVay doesn't even know his name. That's how bad it is.
Yeah, why even need to learn if he's not going to be on the field? I can't believe that you think Derwin James makes that big of an impact in this game in particular.
I will give Jeff his credit. The second that the injury happened, he immediately called the casket match off. This is not revisionist history. He said it right away. So I believe him when he says it. And he's the expert. So if he says the Chargers should still win and cover, I'm taking
But
him on
now
that
he's
somewhere.
scared of this half point against the Bengals with Joe Burrow.
I will take the Chargers. And I'll take Jeff's advice.
Are you even taking the Chargers? Or are you too scared of this half point?
No, we're gonna kill him.
See?
No,
We're
I
at the
don't.
half point, but we're gonna kill him.
No, I don't know that we're gonna kill him. We're gonna win, and I'm forced to take this game. We could still hurt the kid. I feel like he's in an unfavorable spot.
The Chargers were 3-6 when favored last season in the outright market. Only Arizona and Cincinnati were worse when they were favored, but they did own a plus 28 point differential in those games. Now they have Tyrod. Better or worse, do you think, than Phillip?
Worse, but we might win more games.
So
It's not
better.
Better.
Wait,
It's not
wait,
better.
I mean, it's not better than vintage Rivers, but if you're comparing this year Rivers to this year Tyrod, who do you feel better with as Chargers quarterback?
Don't make him choose between his 1 o'clock
Now
team
that
and his 4 o'clock team.
Derwin is gone, I just want you to make fun of me for my rookie. To be honest.
Oh, Saint Bear's
Yeah,
chicken?
once
that guy
October
sucks. You want to talk about someone who sucks? He's worse than Darnold.
Once October comes, it's just your bit. Once October comes,
You really think you don't even think Herbert's going to be good?
I don't have a clue.
You were so
How could we know? How could we
you
know?
so did not. You want them to take Tua. You were pumped up, and they ended up with this jabroni who's probably never going to play a game.
Well, it's not like they passed on
Passed
Tua.
They could have moved up to get him if they wanted him.
Should have traded Derwin. Wouldn't have cost him anything.
That's true.
Yeah, I said it's like we lost Jamal Adams but didn't get the draft picks.
But Jamal Adams wasn't all that good anyway, according to Tim.
He was really good. He wasn't as good as Derwin, but he was really good.
But he's not as good as this guy they got back,
See, what's
McDougal.
so funny
But you
is-
give me two
what's so
first
funny
rou-
is a couple months ago, Jamal Adams, it's not even a debate, better than Derwin James.
And no, best defensive player in football is what Tim said.
Wait, but you give me two. No, I would never said that because I
You
think Aaron
did say
Donald's the
that.
best player, but defensive player. in football.
Evan, if you're listening out there with your photographic memory, can you please send me the time code for that clip? Thank you.
But if you give me
I really
McDougal
wanna
and
bet
2
this
first overall
game-
picks,
Honestly, I'm upset because if Derwin was playing, this would have been the biggest bet I ever made on a football game. Casket match, Undertaker Kamala, SummerSlam 92, Wembley Stadium.
was that when the British Bulldog
Yes,
beat Bret Hart for the
yeah.
Intercontinental
It was
title?
a
It was a
main
great
event.
match.
It was.
Yeah, good match.
Tim
yeah.
doesn't know.
yes, I used to. I still have those rubber figures from the early '90s.
Those are
I'll
from,
let you
those
know.
are actually from the late 80s.
The event
Some of them
started.
are from the late '80s. I have all of them.
The opening match of that card was Legion of Doom versus Money Inc. I want to say.
Or Demolition.
No,
Well, I was like
Demolition
11
gone
years
by
old.
then.
I loved wrestling.
Yeah, so I'm upset the casket match is over. I don't know. I don't know how to just stand here. I'm not saying what Tim is saying. I think Hunter Henry is really good though.
Okay.
I mean, he has a hard time staying healthy, like a lot of Chargers.
Over under on the amount of times Geoff will pick the Chargers ATS this year on the show. 15
Every
and a
time.
half.
Every time.
He's picked them every time we've done this show. He has picked. The
I don't
Chargers
pick
to cover.
against them. I have to
I
make a
pick
pick
against
on
my
the
team
game.
sometimes. I'm trying to do something.
You're trying to curse yourself or reverse curse it.
I'm going with the Bengals at home. 3.5 points. Maybe Joe Burrow's awesome. He
is awesome.
And maybe
but
he's a
it's-
lot better than Tyrod Taylor is.
Burrow's
and-
going to be the real.
And like you said, with that 3 points, if Taylor plays the way that Taylor normally plays, you grind this game down, you make it close. Maybe it comes down to a field goal at the end of that half point does end up playing a factor, and the Chargers win by 3 or something like that.
I would prefer to bet it at 3.
I forgot to mention the Cardinals are on my teaser.
Oh God. So the Cardinals
Tease them up to 13 and a hook.
13.5. All right. So you guys are all taking the Chargers, coin included.
You like if it was 3, what would you take?
I take the Bengals.
You want to bet? Well, never mind. I'll worry about that elsewhere.
I'm just gonna take the Bengals. I just don't think the Chargers are fine. And maybe that defensive line does give Burrow way too many problems, but I think the Bengals have the better offense, if nothing else.
Kyler Murray.
Okay. Is a quarterback.
Sorry. Kenneth Murray is going to win Defensive Rookie of the Year.
What are his odds on that?
Like 18 to 1.
Okay.
Linebackers make the plays so he could fill the box score.
Yeah,
If
get
Derwin
those
is out,
stats.
he'll be the sexy statistical player. It's really hard for corners. If obviously there's a defensive lineman, if Chase Young puts up some sack numbers, could be hard to beat. But take me on that.
Sunday night game. Another game that I will not be betting.
I wish I was more
think.
excited. Right? Like normally, like week 1, I'm real excited.
I am.
Good. Someone is. Okay. Sorry.
Love this game.
Sunday night game. Dallas at the Los Angeles Rams. The Rams, 3-point dogs at home. 52 is the over-under. The fun stat about this game, in the McVay era, the Rams are a perfect 7-0 outright in games with a 50 over-under that are decided by 6 or fewer points. Obviously, the spread in this game is 3. If Vegas projects it to be a high-scoring close game, the Rams win those games. I'm going to take the Rams Sunday night. Home dogs. Let's go.
I hate having to lay 3 here.
For the Cowboys?
Yeah. And I hate that
America's team.
And I hate that I'm not going to be able to watch Tampa, New Orleans.
You can just have another screen.
I
No,
can't.
I understand where Jeff's coming from.
You guys are fucking losers.
I am.
Come watch at the bar with us.
Give me the Cowboys. I think they're being undersold this year.
They're not being undersold. Everyone's so high on the Cowboys. You know how people feel about, like, how Tim thinks people feel about the Jets? People actually feel that way about the Cowboys.
I don't know why I'm having a hard time seeing that, but I like what they got going on. Give me Dallas. I hate the Rams this year. I made a big bet Rams under 8.5.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I-
but you
130.
hate the Rams.
I don't like the Rams either, but I think that they cover this game. I think they win this game outright.
Very
Yeah.
possible.
I too am taking the Rams, but I remember that week 15, 16, whatever it was, these two teams played in Dallas, and Dallas destroyed the Rams. And that's when the Rams were clicking. So these teams aren't significantly different than what they were at the end of last year. So that's worth bearing some consideration of, and as to why I wouldn't put the Rams on a tease. So, but a normal week I probably would, because that's how much I like them. But I'm not, because I've got to be discriminating in a week that I just love so
And
many.
you know
games.
what? It's a real lost opportunity. It's a
is.
lost opportunity to set the stage before everyone wanted to make fun of the Chargers and having no fans. I can see
No
the
one,
disgust.
no one wants to
hold
make
on.
fun of the Chargers. No one cares about the Chargers.
Let me talk. This game, it would have been the first game in this new building, the $6 billion albatross that Stan Kroenke's paid for out of pocket and cries to the league every day about.
Fortunately, he has like another like 50 billion. So it's
When
fine.
you're like, wife owns Walmart, what's $6 billion? That entire stadium would have opened 97% Cowboy fans, and I wish we could have seen it. That's all.
All right. Let's go to Monday night. Steelers, the return of Grand Ben at the New York Giants. 5.5 it's now up to. It opened at 5. It's now up to 5.5 for the Giant or for the Steelers. So home dogs for the Giants, 47.5 is the over under in this game. And this really feels like a big swing either way. Like the money just keeps piling towards the Steelers. Like when this game was a week ago, it was -4. Then it was -5. Now it's 5.5. I think I like the Giants. Not necessarily to win, but Daniel Jones, good in garbage time. Yeah. He's like the
Put
king.
them on the teaser.
He's the king of garbage time. So
I'm starting to like Daniel Jones a lot in fantasy.
oh,
this
Daniel
year.
Jones fantasy, like him and Minshew, like they're the perfect garbage time quarterbacks. Like they might not be good in real life and lead their team to wins, but they run, they pile. They're gonna have ample opportunity to pile up garbage time points because the defenses on their team are fucking terrible.
And can I just make a? I mean, I could be very wrong with this because one of the players was first overall, and I'm actually not predicting this. I'm just saying maybe it is possible. As we discussed in our season preview show and maybe even earlier today, Pat, everyone like loves Kyler Murray. I think all three of us love him. We're excited. No, Tim hates him.
Yeah, Tim doesn't like him.
Sorry.
No, it's not true. I've come around on him.
Oh, okay. Well, most
Not
people are excited about that and Kingsbury.
Yeah.
And even, if you're not, I mean, Cardinals don't have many fans, so it's just entertaining as a football fan to see what goes on there. And he has got big Vegas liability for MVP that opened really high.
They opened it at like 125
Yeah,
to 1.
and then
it
80
closed-
and 60,
it
and people
closed at
crushed
20.
it. Yeah, people crushed it. They see a lot of Lamar Jackson trajectory year 2, doing a lot of things. The expectations are low enough where when you're amazing, it actually feels more amazing because people weren't really ready for that. In a poor man's world, can Daniel Jones be the year 2 QB that actually breaks out? I'm not predicting it, but there's so much hype about Lamar doing it. And there's not like a thought about Daniel Jones doing it, which is probably fair, but
I would say, I mean, if you go back and look at what scouts actually said about
and I'm not saying MVP. That's big,
but to not be terrible, to be good.
yeah, to be like really good, be like, whoa, this is
remember
a guy.
remember when Goff was good in year 2 and everyone was like stunned, including myself. He's actually probably closer to the guy in year 1 than he was in the year that he was good. I think Haskins is that guy.
Okay,
Haskins was rated as a much better quarterback than Daniel Jones.
Okay,
the
fine.
Giants just took him higher. Like,
Might just. I feel
It's
like I
just-
like
it's a-
the weapons in New York though to make
sure,
Jones
but
look
maybe
good.
maybe they're both. They just take a little bit of a leap, and then all of a sudden, both these teams are kind of undervalued if their quarterbacks are like semi-competent. I think that Ben's going to be fine. I think the Steelers win this game, but I'm going to wait on it too. Like the closer this gets to Monday, if it's already climbed a 1.5, I don't see it stopping now.
You get to a
People love betting the
touchdown, yeah.
Steelers. People think the Giants suck, and they're probably right.
And it's going to be it's a Monday night, the first week of the season.
People are chasing losses from Sunday.
As I've told you off air, on air for years, I have so much respect. Watch the show with Pizzola. He's such a disciplined bettor.
Yeah, don't bet the game just because it's on.
That's me.
I know.
Monday night, I'll just bet Monday Night Football because I love betting football. And I'll have to pick a side in a game I don't even feel that strong about. But I'm not disciplined in that sense, so I will bet this game. And I'm probably going to bet the Giants. And like you, I should probably wait on it. But I think the Giants might actually win this game outright.
It's week 1. Crazy things happen. Like there's a lot of just historically week 1, week 17, just because you don't know who's playing in week 17 for one thing. But in week 1, like you don't have an actual gauge on what any of these teams are yet. There's going to be like 3 or 4 big
The
upsets.
Jets blew out the Lions week 1. I know the Lions suck too. But I don't know. Week 1, when we're in the nitty gritty of like November, December, who's good, who's bad, we've seen a lot. We're going to laugh about some of the results from week 1. You do every year.
We're going to laugh about it next week, and I want to see how influenced these spreads are. Let's remember what these spreads were next week when there's just a huge overreaction in the market to some of these
Pittsburgh's
teams.
a 5.5 point favorite. All of a sudden, next week they're a 5.5 point dog because they lost to the Giants.
Yeah, my favorite example from last year was that the Niners and Bengals were a pick 'em in week 2.
Crazy, right? And weren't
Like,
the
that's my
Bengals
favorite
and
comparison.
I guess the Ravens were a bit of a favorite versus Arizona week 2.
No, but like the Niners were, I think, dogs on the road in Tampa week 1 last year, then a pick 'em with Cincinnati in week 2.
Crazy, yeah, crazy. And that'll be the case this year about a couple teams.
Yeah, we
we'll
got to
laugh at.
sniff out who that team who is actually good in and buy into them early and hammer them the first 4 weeks before the actual value catches up. I think
Could it be
Minnesota.
Chicago?
I think it could be Minnesota.
I like Minnesota. I picked them to go to the
Could be the
NFC
Jets.
title game.
It's not the Jets. Spoiler alert. They might have the first pick and
Narrator.
draft a real quarterback.
Not
next year.
the Jets.
are
Tim
you-
doesn't
could be
like
Denver,
Tim
too.
doesn't
Could
like
be
when
Denver.
people talk about it, but the Jets are like the 5th team on the board for first overall pick.
Yeah, well,
Well, yeah, we have Seattle's pick. Of course we are. Well, no, we have 2 picks. So of course we're that high to have that pick because we have a better chance of getting a higher pick with our own and
All right,
Seattle.
I'll give you that spin.
Mathematics.
I'll give you that.
That's
spin
quite
zone.
the spin.
I'll give you that.
That's quite the
O'Reilly factor. No
The
spin
Giants
zone.
are the leader in the clubhouse for Superlock for me. I love the Giants here in this spot. It's a play against Pittsburgh more. It's a play on the Giants.
It's funny because I like Pittsburgh. I have them going to the AFC title game this year. I just think this is and if the spread does get up to 6, 6.5, maybe even 7 by kickoff, it just feels like it's a potential upset spot. First game back, Ben with like Juju and guys that he's never played with, and then just the backdoor potential here with garbage time Daniel Jones.
We kind of
This is
already.
a game where learning from Pizzola yesterday, the best way to wait for this line is to wait till Monday at 6:00.
Yeah, if you want to bet Pittsburgh, bet it now.
Correct. And if you want New York, as it
Actually-
sounds like we all do, wait.
Actually, if you wanted Pittsburgh, you should have bet it last week.
Probably. But those of us who like New York would do well to wait, and that's the way we're going to. But anyway, I will take the Giants. I think the Giants are probably going to win.
And I will say,
And of course, we're on the teaser.
both of these Monday night games, someone might lose one of these games ugly. As I made the comment, you said Pittsburgh, like they lose this game, you can't wait to bet them next week. Do you remember, I think the first year we did this show, the Vikings were a heavy favorite versus the 49ers.
Yep.
They lost that game on Monday night, the doubleheader. And
Tom
then they
Sula.
literally ended up being the best ATS team in football that year. Because I think for 2 months, that primetime week 1 loss stuck in minds. And we were getting amazing numbers every week.
That was the first year I was on TV, and I had my Superlock segment on Gabe's show that year.
Oh, you were just
I
Vikings.
locked in the Vikings 6 consecutive
Yeah.
weeks, and they won. They covered the spread
Yeah,
6
yeah.
consecutive weeks. They were like 9-1 ATS after 10 weeks after that game.
After
It's
that
crazy.
game. So Pittsburgh loses this game. Let's like just commit to Pittsburgh,
Commit to Pittsburgh
for a
every
run
week.
of Pittsburgh.
I like it. I like our new strategy on some of this stuff. We'll see. Last game, the late game on Monday night, Tennessee at Denver. Denver favored by 1.5. It's 2 in some spots. It's 1 in some spots. This one's kind of all over the
There's
board.
a blizzard. Schefter
Blizzard
reported today
tomorrow, yeah.
a blizzard is hitting Denver this week and is remaining apparently.
Okay, so here's the thing. We are recording this
Oh.
in full disclosure
Sorry.
on Monday evening. This game is next Monday evening. If I open up my weather app and look at the weather for tomorrow, it's going to be fucking wrong. Like, I'm not putting too much credence into, and maybe the blizzard hits. I'm going to bet it like right now, but at the same time, like, give me a fucking break.
Okay, fine. You're right.
This happens though. I was in Calgary 5 years ago. We had a blizzard on Labor Day. So the Western Rocky Mountains.
Were you actually
Have that
there
kind of
just
weather.
in the airport?
Or were
No,
you,
no,
were you
I
just
was living there.
Were you there like through Google Maps?
No, I was living there at the time. We had a blizzard. Anyway, let's get to the brass tacks here. I think this is probably the game of the week. I'm really excited to watch this football game. Team that went to the AFC title game last year is a team that I think is could be the Titans of this year. Teams no one's talking about that if we blink in January and they're in the title game, I wouldn't be shocked, although I don't have the guts to pick.
I think Denver is pretty
Park
popular as a team that people
The
are.
line is moving towards Tennessee. It was at 2, then 1.5.
Mhm.
Like I said, you can find it at -1 in some places. I love Tennessee in this game.
I like Denver. I like the altitude. I like Locke. I mean, I threw a dart earlier in the year saying I really like this Denver team. So in their first close game, it would be sort of foolish of me to not pick them, and so I'm going to pick them. I'm really excited for this game. I think this could be back and forth, tight, well played football, the kind of football I like, and it could be a lot of fun.
Coin is going with Tennessee. Denver 2-3 last year as a favored team. Not great as favorites. I think Tennessee, like, it's really striking to me. And I'm usually one that gives Tennessee no credit because I hate fucking Titans. But they're
It's a roster, man. That's a roster.
They're a better team. Looks like Clowney's going to play too on Monday night. Who I saved this, by the way, on my phone. Where is the text? From Tim Andercuss. Can you please read that out loud? This text I have from him.
Tennessee signed Clowney. Whatever. I don't really want him. Front seven is strong enough.
I mean, I stand by that. I never really wanted Clowney that badly. Like, he'd have been a fine addition, but like,
You were
Don't
so
the
giddy.
Jets have,
You
like,
were
the
so
shittiest front seven. in
you
the
were
league?
so giddy for the 48 hours. You guys were like rumored to get him. You
no,
were
it was
so
Ngakwe
happy.
I was more excited about.
Oh yeah,
than,
maybe that was
Clowney.
it actually.
Yeah,
and
it was
I would've-
actually both.
Okay, yeah, for sure it was.
Because he was
Now
claiming they were going to get them both at one point.
Tennessee could have him. I never really wanted him anyway.
I like Tennessee. I'm not as high on Denver as a lot of people are.
I think
I'm not
Denver's
into
a
Drew
fine
Lock.
team. I like that their defense is back, fully healthy. At least at this point, just having Chubb and Miller on defense, and like you said, like bringing Boye in. Like I know they lose Chris Harris, but like they should be fine in that sort of transition. But this is gonna be like 38 Derrick Henry rushes up the middle, and are they gonna stop him? Probably not. Is
Melvin has experience playing this late Monday night game.
Yeah.
throughout his
Oh,
career,
and he's got
so
experience fumbling on
on
the
the
goal
1 yard
versus
line to
the
lose to
Titans.
Tennessee?
That's a fair counter argument.
I want this guy blown up.
But honestly, I think this really comes down to that Tennessee can control the pace of this game.
That's what they do.
I enjoy their efficiency, especially on these like deeper passes. I think Jonnu Smith presents a real problem for them. But this defensive line for Tennessee is going to eat up this quote unquote revamped, but now like
Oh, they're
opted out
screwed.
and
They
injured
are in big
offensive line.
trouble.
And listen, I think Locke could be good, but I don't think he's gonna be super great under a ton of pressure.
Everyone is so excited and assume. Yeah, I don't know.
Like
There's a lot of new targets there. It might take a few weeks, sort of like last year. Denver started slow, came along maybe. I'm not really buying them as much as everyone is saying. I like the Vegas more than them, and I'm picking them to lose this week anyway. Tennessee.
So Tennessee for me, you and the coin, the Broncos for Tim Anderkes. Paul, did you have something to say?
I pulled up a tweet from Tim Anderson 87, not the other fake ones out there. And it was CBS Sports saying Jadeveon Clowney to the Jets ? And he quote tweeted it, please, 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 please. So he did want them as of March 16th, 2020. So I don't know. You have anything to say about that, Tim?
Well, that was like 6 months ago. I've changed my opinion.
What's
since then.
changed? What's really changed since then? though?
I think the fact that he waited to the last second to be signed, and teams weren't running out to get their checkbooks out to sign him, makes me think that maybe the experts know a little bit more about his health and his productivity than I expected. This guy was the first pick overall in the draft, and maybe he shouldn't have been. I don't know.
So if you don't sign with the Jets, you're not good, Geoff. That's what it all boils down to in Tim's mind. Kirk Cousins, Matt Rule, Anthony Barr, Jadeveon Clowney, everyone because no one wants to play for the Jets. Yes, Paul.
I just wanted to say I think I've lost like one of my jokes this year, which is calling the Jets Geoff's second favorite team.
Yeah,
I think it's clearly now it's the Colts, so it's your
True.
third favorite team.
It's true.
All right, let's get to the SUPERLOCKS. Feeling fresh. I'm not under 500 yet on SUPERLOCKS. I have it narrowed down to 3 teams. I think my 4 favorites on the board, because I actually do really like Tennessee. Tennessee, Washington, Chicago, and New Orleans. Ugh.
We're on the same list.
Did
man.
not think that's where I
got
would be here.
Minnesota on that list.
Let's go Monday night. Actually, no, let's not go Monday night. Tim talked about the altitude. If we're talking about a lock here to lock it in, I'm just going to go with the Saints -3.5 at home against Tampa. Take the better team to win by a bunch.
That's
Tim, why don't you give us your super lock?
I am going to take the New York Giants.
+5.5 as we have them right now at home on Monday night.
But I would advise you wait and take them Monday morning a week from now.
we're on the same side, Pat.
New Orleans -3.5.
Yeah, that's a gift.
Brady's going to make us look stupid, isn't he?
No, he won't.
Who's your survivor pick?
Indy.
Really?
I know yours is.
I'm going to go with Baltimore. Baltimore over Cleveland. Even if they sneak it through by 3, I think they're going to win this game. Maybe I should just take KC. KC's going to win. I know we all picked Houston to cover, but KC's going to win that game, right?
I don't know if you want to be playing that game. If I'm going to pick one team to cover, but then pick the other one in Survivor. I don't know. That seems like a game you play as an expert in these things. A game you play in like week 15 when you're running out of bullets, not in week 1.
All right. I'm going to agree with Tim on that one. Tim, can you recap your free money 6.5-point teaser for us, please? And once again, people, you need to know that Tim Lifetime 6-71 on his free money teasers. Also, don't play teasers. And if you say you haven't lost one in 2020, that is false.
I haven't lost one in the 2020 season. So we're going to connect the Philadelphia Eagles to +0.5 point, the New York Jets +13. The New England Patriots to a pick'em, the Arizona Cardinals to +13.5 hook, and the New York Football Giants up to 12.5 hook. Bet the farm, win 3 farms.
That pays 3-1, does it?
Touch over plus 307. So a touch over 3 and 1.
Okay. That'll do it on the Pat Mayo experience. Tim, are you going to go buy a package and buy the betting tools package at FTN Bets and or FTN Daily or both and get in the draw to win said package? By
Yes,
getting into the
because I
draw?
expect that the winner of the Astro Wagon 0001 will be me.
If you use code MAYO at FTNBets.com or FTNDaily.com, you get yourself a discount and you get into the draw to get a free package of either of them. Just screenshot them to me after you buy them and we'll be good to go. Geoff Fienberg, thank you for being in the studio.
Ready. I wish I had Tim's like gusto of confidence to bet the slate of games.
You don't need Tim's gusto. Do you have your 3 games and you make your bets on those?
Yeah.
Feeling good about week 1. Usually I don't, but this week I'm just locked and loaded. I don't know why. I just feel it. And as a rule, when I trust my gut, I succeed.
What are you succeeding? What evidence would you have of success here?
Things go right for me. It's when I second and triple and third and fourth guess myself that I get into trouble.
Making
It's like when I'm it's like when I'm on the golf course. When I like a shot and a club, when I switch to a different club or a different shot, it always screws me up. If I just stick with my gut, 8 iron, 130 or 145, then I never make a mistake. Oh, maybe there's some wind. I should pull the 9. Maybe I should choke down on a 7. And no, go with your gut. You succeed.
Got any PLs already?
I'm looking at a few.
All right.
Are you still buying those like scratch tickets?
Yeah. Are you still pulling it off and just winning with your cherries?
I never played those.
Yes, you did.
I like the crossword one. I like the
tearaways.
crosswords. I like the crossword.
If people don't know, Tim is the guy who goes up to the counter at the convenience store.
No, I'm not this person.
He buys his pack of cigarettes. He gets his DC and the 1 liter bottle, and he buys 20 scratch tickets. He's like, just scratch the barcode and run them through.
I am not.
Give
that
me some
person.
tearaways while I wait.
I'm not
That's
that person.
Tim.
I don't crave action that badly.
I'd like to thank Paul Shaughnessy behind the camera. I'd also like to thank The Coin and for bringing the insanity today. Tim Undercost!
Tim Andergust.
That's not my name. I thought I was pretty tame today, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it was a very mellow start to the season. It looked like Geoff was going to cry about Phillip Rivers at one point, and then Derwin James at one point.
Maybe.
I recommend that everyone go check out all of the other shows. The Intro to Sports Betting in the description. The Intro to DraftKings in the description. AFC wins, NFC wins, Week 1 rankings. If you still haven't done your fantasy draft, we still have rankings down in the description. Lots of stuff in that description. Just like the links and the promo code MAYO to FTN Bets and FTNDaily.com. You get in the draws for those packages. The Listeners League link for DraftKings is down there as well. I'm Pat Mayo. Thank you all for watching. Like and sub to the show. Tell some friends so we can grow the Mayo Media Network. We've got a ton of content coming at you. I'll see you next time.
Pat Mayo Experience! Experience!